Chapter 788. Although she did not say it explicitly, the warning in her words was obvious. If it were anyone else they would have stopped. After all, the woman in front of them was very powerful. Her aura was far stronger than the two old men from before. However, the person they offended this time was Lin Xian, so things would not end so easily. What if I say no? Lin Xian said indifferently. He was not afraid of the woman in blue. That's a good suggestion. Since you don't want to listen, don't blame me for making a move. The woman in blue's face darkened and her aura overflowed. Suddenly, snowflakes floated in the air. The entire cultivation room seemed to have turned into a world of ice and snow. As expected of an expert from the Lung family. Her aura is indeed powerful. It seems that Qiao Tong's life is saved with Lung Su around. Outside, the crowd was discussing. I'll give you one more chance. Leave now and you'll have a chance to live. Lung Su's voice was cold. You didn't make a move because you're not confident. You can't see my cultivation and you don't know what realm I'm in. Am I right? Lin Xian sneered. Otherwise, with your domineering personality, you would have made a move long ago. Since you don't dare to make a move, why do you have to make it sound so dignified? How pathetic. Also, if I want to kill someone, even the heavens can't stop me. You're too arrogant. It's easy for me to kill you. Lung Su's face darkened and she quickly made a move. With a wave of her palm, a terrifying cold aura surged and turned into endless ice. Boom. The ice crystal palm was like a mountain of ice, quickly grabbing forward and enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted and took a step forward. Suddenly his aura changed drastically. Endless blood-red sword chi surged, and a monstrous killing intent surged out, sweeping in all directions as if it was going to tear the sky apart. The killing intent was so dense that it formed a solid killing sword that swept in all directions. Boom, boom, boom. Countless sword chi slashed on the ice crystal palm, shattering it. Even more killing intent surged behind and enveloped Qiao Tong. Oh, you dare to touch me? Sister Ling Su, save me. Qiao Tong roared with unwillingness and fear. In an instant, he was pierced by countless strands of killing intent. You're courting death. Lung Su's expression changed. She waved her jade-like hands, shooting out numerous ice crystals in an attempt to save Qiao Tong. However, he still underestimated Lin Xian's murderous aura. Originally, Lin Xian possessed the slaughter sword, and his killing intent was already very strong. Now that he had obtained Qiao's inheritance, the slaughter blood sword, even a second-rank honorable would not be able to withstand that terrifying killing intent, let alone Qiao Tong. In an instant, Qiao Tong's heart was pierced by 10,000 swords, nailing him to the wall. He was deader than dead. This vicious youth had finally paid the price for his arrogant and vicious actions. If you kill him, you'll die too. Lung Su's beautiful face turned incomparably cold. She didn't expect the other party to be so decisive and ruthless, directly ignoring her and the Qiao clan's threat. This kind of person could not be allowed to live. Scram, don't force me to make a move. Lin Xian snorted coldly, his eyes surging with killing intent. I'll kill you today and bring you back to the Qiao clan as a sacrifice to Qiao Tong. Lung Su had no intention of retreating. Looks like you're also a dog of the Qiao clan. Since that's the case, stay here. Lin Xian snorted coldly, his body surging with murderous aura. It was monstrous, like a sea of blood, directly shattering the void. Slash. A blood-red sword slashed down from the sky, sharp to the extreme. Even a second-rank honorable would die from this attack. Lung Su wasn't a second-rank honorable, so she couldn't withstand such a terrifying attack. Finally, a trace of fear appeared in her eyes. The youth in front of her was too strong, far from someone she could fight against. Go. Without hesitation, she turned into a ray of frost and quickly rushed out. Don't you think it's too late to leave now? Lin Xian sneered and slashed down with the blood-red sword in his hand. Poof. Blood splattered and Lung Su was cut in half. The crowd was stunned, dumbfounded as they looked at the corpse on the ground, trembling. This was too shocking, too terrifying. He killed without hesitation, not showing any mercy to such a beautiful woman. After today, the Qiao clan and the Lung clan would be completely enraged. Since their disciples were killed here, as the major forces in the city, the Qiao clan and the Lung clan would definitely not let this matter rest. Since this youth was so strong, his identity must be extraordinary. If they didn't handle this well, there would be a huge battle. It seemed like the eve of the Wanxiang auction was really eventful. After keeping their storage rings, Lin Xian left with Yu Fei. Brother Xian, we've killed so many people, I'm afraid the other party won't let this matter rest, right? Yu Fei said worriedly. After all, the other party was from a major clan and had great influence here. Don't worry, find a place to recuperate for the next few days. I'll go out and take a look. Lin Xian said, I've learned the heaven-changing technique. No one below the 5th rank honorable realm can see through my disguise. It was because of this magical technique that Lin Xian had nothing to worry about. After killing people, he could change his appearance and aura, and the other party wouldn't be able to find him. Lin Xian used the items in the storage rings and paid a high price to find a safe place in the city. The two of them stayed there temporarily. However, the atmosphere on the other side was completely different. After the Chao clan found out that Chao Tong had been killed, they were in an uproar. They roared crazily and searched everywhere for the culprit. Someone dared to kill people in the city and a member of the Wang clan. This was a blatant provocation. Even the other major clans in the city didn't dare to do so, but a kid who came out of nowhere dared to challenge the Wang clan. He was courting death. Soon the Wang clan gave the order to search the entire city. On the other side, the Lung clan also gave the order to capture the culprit. Immediately, the entire wind-seeking city was in a state of chaos. Everyone was in danger. Meanwhile, the person in question, Lin Xian, was resting in a quiet courtyard. After he found out about the Wang clan and the Lung clan, he sneered and ignored them. No matter how strong they were, they couldn't find this place. Moreover, even if they found him, he was confident that he could leave. He still had many trump cards in his hand, so he wasn't afraid of the Wang clan. The Wang clan and the Lung clan searched for the culprit, but they couldn't find him. They were furious, but they didn't give up. Instead, they offered attractive conditions and put out wanted posters in the city. 10 million spiritual stones as a reward for the culprit. Immediately, many martial artists were tempted and started to act. However, Lin Xian seemed to have disappeared. No one could find him. 3 days later, Lin Xian would definitely go out and take a look. He asked Yu Fei to stay here and recuperate. He also set up a defensive array, while he used the heaven-changing technique to become a young scholar. With a smile, Lin Xian appeared in Wind-Seeking City again. Wind-Seeking City was even more lively now. More and more martial artists were gathering here. Some experts and geniuses also appeared frequently, all for the Wanxiang auction. Chapter 789. The Wind-Seeking City was bustling. Unlike the Sand region, there was no arena, but there was a coliseum. It was a more exciting and bloody battle. Beasts fought against beasts. The battle was more tragic than a martial arts battle. Deaths were common. Perhaps only in the Blood region could such exciting things happen. In the south of the city there was a majestic building complex. That was the Colosseum. There were many cages on both sides of the wide street. There were all kinds of beasts in the cages. The cages were made of star-patterned steel. The beasts couldn't break them at all. Moreover, there were powerful experts and mysterious beast tamers behind these Colosseum. They could control any situation. The huge cage was 10 meters tall. There was a divine wolf inside. It was snow-white and had a pair of wings on its back. It stared fiercely at the passers-by. Beside it was a black rat. It was as big as a mountain. The breath it exhaled was filled with dense demonic qi. The beasts in this place were very powerful. I haven't eaten wild meat for a long time. I wonder how the meat is. A strange voice suddenly sounded. Suddenly the whole street quieted down. Many people turned their heads, looking for the strong man who dared to say such arrogant words. Soon they locked onto a handsome young scholar. They looked at him carefully and shook their heads. No matter how they looked at him, he didn't look like a strong man. It was impossible for him to say such words. No one paid attention to him after a few jeers. The young scholar blinked and said, "If you don't behave, I'll sell you." The young scholar was Lin Xian in disguise. The arrogant voice from before was the work of the dark red divine dragon. After changing his appearance, Lin Xian came to the place where the beasts were fighting. There were many onlookers in front of him. They cheered from time to time. Lin Xian was curious, so he walked over to take a look. He saw two mutated beasts fighting in the huge cage before him. One of them was a black tiger with white tiger stripes all over its body. It was very strange and mysterious. His opponent was a 3-meter-tall divine condor. Its golden feathers were like golden steel and emitted a dazzling light. Whoosh! The divine condor flew up like a ball of golden flame and rushed toward the black tiger. Brr! The black tiger was enraged. It let out a roar and leaped into the sky. Its sharp claws were like swords and sabers that tore through the void. Boom! Clang! Bang! In the blink of an eye, the two exotic beasts clashed dozens of times. Every time they clashed, it was as if thunder had struck each other. The golden divine eagle let out a cry. Like a bolt of golden lightning, it quickly grabbed at the head of the black tiger below, wanting to crush it. Ka. This attack was narrowly dodged by Black Tiger. However, the hard ground was shattered and countless terrifying cracks appeared. The center had been reduced to dust. The strength of the two exotic beasts drew cheers from the crowd. Countless people were cheering and the atmosphere was lively. Soon the black tiger was enraged. The white tiger stripes on its body shone brightly, and a powerful aura spread out from it. It was a terrifying energy that carried a terrifying pressure. As soon as this aura was released, the surrounding beasts immediately prostrated themselves as if they were worshipping their king. Could it be the power of bloodline? Some martial artists exclaimed in shock. Not only did martial artists have the power of bloodline, but beasts also had the power of bloodline. They were no weaker than humans. The black tiger in front of them obviously had the power of bloodline. The white tiger stripes were as dazzling as white jade. They condensed into a huge shadow of a black tiger above. It looked disdainfully as if a real demon had descended. The golden divine eagle felt threatened and let out an even sharper cry. Its body shone with golden light, and every feather was as sharp as a divine sword. Its entire body seemed to be covered with a layer of golden divine flames. Its aura was no weaker than the black tiger. Although it did not have the power of bloodline, the golden divine eagle was not weak. Especially its eyes. They were as bright as the sun, as if they could see through everything. Divine eagle eyes. Could it be the legendary divine eagle eyes? Someone exclaimed again, looking very excited. What is divine eagle eyes? Some martial artists were confused and asked. Divine eagle eyes. It is said to be able to see through everything. It can see the trajectory of the opponent's moves. It is very powerful. This supernatural power originally belonged to the demon race. Later on, it was evolved into a supernatural power by the human race. I didn't expect this divine eagle to have such a powerful supernatural power like divine eagle eyes. Roar. An earth-shattering sound was heard. It was as if thousands of thunder had descended. As the black tiger moved, the huge tiger soul condensed above also launched an attack. Boom. This attack seemed to be able to devour the sky and split the earth. The entire ground cracked like a python web. The huge cage also shook and was about to break open. Everyone was shocked and quickly retreated. Fortunately, colorful lights suddenly appeared on the ground, forming a huge rectangular light array that enveloped the two mutated beasts. This was a defensive array set up by the experts of the Warbeast Castle. Dust filled the air and rocks flew everywhere. The momentum was extremely terrifying. However, the golden divine eagle was not hurt. Its eyes emitted golden light that could see through everything. In other words, it had completely seen through the black tiger's powerful attack. In the next moment, the golden divine eagle appeared in the void. It spread its wings like two clouds of golden mist. On its wings, every feather shone like a divine sword. Buzz. The golden feathers were like divine light. They formed sword chi and shot down quickly. It was as if thousands of divine swords were surging in the sky. The entire rectangular space was completely covered. This divine skill was very shocking. 108,000 divine lights connected into one and quickly drowned the black tiger. The black tiger was unwilling to resist. It led the huge shadow to counterattack. However, the golden light was too sharp. It directly pierced through the shadow and body of the black tiger, nailing it to the ground. Blood flowed. A powerful mutated beast had died. The divine eagle retracted its wings and stood proudly, looking disdainfully at the surroundings. Everyone was shocked and couldn't come back to their senses for a long time. At this moment, the man from the Warbeast Castle smiled faintly and said loudly, "This is the golden divine eagle, a 9th-ranked demonic beast. It is still in its infancy. Its future is limitless. This time we will launch it for a beast battle. Who is willing to give it a try? If you win, you can take it away. You only need to pay 100,000 mid-grade spiritual stones to fight with this divine eagle. You can even obtain this powerful mutated beast. 100,000 mid-grade spiritual stones is a precious opportunity. Everyone don't miss it." Hearing that, the entire Warbeast Castle became excited. Countless martial artists were envious and excited. They couldn't wait to go up and fight. Chapter 790. The decision of the Colosseum made everyone excited. Many people were eager to give it a try. They had seen the power of the golden divine condor. Even the black tiger with the power of bloodline was no match for it. Moreover, it was only in its infancy. If they could subdue it and wait until it reached adulthood, it would be a super powerful help. No one wanted to miss such a good opportunity. The middle-aged man from the Colosseum smiled at the fiery scene and continued, "Now, I will state the requirements of the competition. First, you can only subdue it. You can't kill it. Otherwise, you will become the enemy of our Colosseum. Second, although this golden divine condor is extraordinary, it is only a 9th-rank demonic beast, which is equivalent to the human spirit-detecting realm. Therefore, those who participate in the competition must suppress their cultivation to the spirit-detecting realm. As long as these two conditions are met, you can participate in the competition. Of course, if someone doesn't know how to suppress their cultivation, we also have a special formation that can help you. Now please make your decision." Hearing this, everyone started to discuss again. However, most of them shook their heads and the fiery light in their eyes disappeared. This divine condor was too powerful. Its combat power was definitely comparable to a venerable. Suppressing one's cultivation to the spirit-detecting realm to fight with it was definitely an act of seeking death. Although everyone was envious, they weren't fools. They wouldn't do such a dangerous thing. Suppressing cultivation? Not bad. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He was interested. Then he stood up and walked toward the Colosseum. In the crowd, many martial artists were discussing. Among them, there were a few young men in luxurious clothes. Their eyes were shining. This divine condor is not bad. If we can train it to be a mount, it will definitely be cool. A young man said. "Oh, Brother Chen, are you interested?" The person beside him smiled. "I am indeed interested. However, suppressing my cultivation might be a little tricky. After all, this beast has the divine eagle eye. It can't be underestimated." The martial artist called Brother Chen hesitated. Suppressing his cultivation meant that he couldn't use the power of his martial soul. Therefore, it was normal for this young man to hesitate. "That's easy," the young man in silver said with a smile. "If Brother Chen is willing, I can talk to the Colosseum. I can guarantee that Brother Chen won't suffer any harm." "Really?" Chinda's eyes lit up. He knew the identity of this young man. He had a close relationship with the Colosseum. If he asked, he could definitely do it. "Thank you, Brother Lung." Chinda a fist salute. "Don't worry. Leave it to me," the young man in silver said. Soon he returned. "All right, Brother Chen, you can go now." Seeing the other party smile, Chinda felt agitated in his heart. He knew what the other party meant. Brother Chinda. Soon after, his confidence was greatly boosted as he walked toward the Warbeast Castle with his head held high. "Brother Lung, are you going to give away such a good exotic beast just like that?" Someone asked, his heart aching. "And Chin. Eh?" At this moment, Chinda stepped forward. His voice rang out, instantly attracting the attention of the crowd. A human silhouette, like a ghost, left behind a string of colorful afterimages in the air. It was very elegant. Good movement technique. Brother Chin must be an expert in the academy. Academy? Everyone was shocked. There was only one place in the blood realm that could become an academy. That was the Immortal Martial Academy. I didn't expect that a disciple from the Immortal Martial Academy would come too. As expected of the Immortal Martial Academy. His movement technique is so powerful. Everyone was envious. The arrogance on Chinda's face grew thicker after he heard that. He was like a proud rooster, insufferably arrogant. His body swayed and he landed on the ground. Instantly, Leng Yu and the others applauded and cheered. Chinda felt great in his heart. He was like an emperor as he walked towards the Colosseum. However, his expression quickly darkened. Because in front of him, a silhouette was already standing in front of the Colosseum and would enter at any time. This scene made him very unhappy. There was actually someone who dared to steal his limelight. This was undoubtedly courting death. Didn't you see that even the Lung clan was trying to curry favor with me? Everyone was stunned. They originally thought that Chinda would enter quickly, but they didn't expect that someone would be one step ahead of him. When did this person come out? Why didn't I know? Who knows? But by doing so, he obviously didn't give face to Chinda. You have to know that he's a disciple of the Immortal Martial Academy. He's a genius among geniuses. That brat is probably unlucky. He actually dared to snatch with someone from the Immortal Martial Academy. Someone gloated. In the crowd, Leng Yu's face sank as killing intent flashed in his eyes. Today was something he had planned. He wanted to curry favor with Chinda and form a good relationship with the Chen clan. But now, there was actually someone who dared to ruin his plan. This caused killing intent to rise in his heart. Chinda was incomparably angry. This was originally his chance to show off, but someone actually dared to interfere? And now that person didn't seem to have any intention of stopping. Seeing this, his face sank as he coldly shouted, "Stop! The one in front, I'm talking to you. Stop right there." This shout was like a thunderclap resounding out in all directions. Finally, the figure in front of him stopped. This figure was naturally none other than Lin Xian. He was very interested in this matter, so he definitely wanted to give it a try. But he didn't expect that there would actually be someone who wanted to interrupt him. Lin Xian turned his head, frowning. "What's the matter?" His voice was cold, and there was even a trace of unhappiness. Naturally, if it was anyone else, they would be unhappy to be stopped for this matter. Not only that, the attitude of the other party was so vile. Hence, it was normal for Lin Xian to be unhappy. But in Chinda's eyes, this attitude was different. A little scholar actually dared to treat him with such an attitude? He was unhappy. Who was he? He was a disciple of the Immortal Martial Academy, a genius among geniuses, and the young master of the Qin clan. Didn't he see that even the Lung clan wanted to curry favor with him? In Chinda's opinion, this was unforgivable. "Brat, if you know what's good for you, leave quickly. If not, don't blame me for being impolite," Chinda sinisterly said. He wanted to obtain the golden-feathered divine condor first before dealing with this brat. "Leave? Why do I have to leave? I want to fight," Lin Xian indifferently said. "Fight? With just you?" Chinda coldly laughed. He didn't sense any powerful aura from the other party. Moreover, from the looks of it, he didn't seem to be a powerful expert. Hence, in his opinion, the other party fighting was simply a joke. "Brat, I'm giving you a warning out of goodwill. If you go in like this, you'll be eaten without even making a move." Chapter 791. Chinda's words were filled with disdain and disdain. The others laughed as well, shaking their heads. They had all witnessed the strength of the golden-feathered divine condor. Ordinary cultivators wouldn't be able to subdue it, let alone this weak-looking young scholar. "You don't have to worry about whether I'll be eaten or not," Lin Xian indifferently replied as he turned and left. Chinda trembled with anger after hearing this. This brat was truly arrogant. However, he couldn't act recklessly. After all, he had already revealed his identity. If he fought with a nameless cultivator, it would truly be a loss of face. At this moment, Leng Yu walked out from the crowd and coldly said, "This little brother, Brother Qin, is a genius of the Immortal Martial Academy. What he said is for your own good. Not only that, this competition was proposed by Brother Qin. You should know the rules of first come, first served, right?" His voice was sinister, carrying with it a serious warning. Firstly, these words once again revealed Chinda's identity as a student of the Immortal Martial Academy. To ordinary cultivators, they wouldn't dare to offend those from the Immortal Martial Academy. Secondly, he stood at the highest point of the rules. Since Chinda was the one who suggested it, no matter what, Chinda should be the one to do it. If it was anyone else, they would have long been scared to death. However, Lin Xian didn't have any reaction. Immortal Martial Academy? The corners of Lin Xian's lips curled up. It was fine to use this identity to bully others, but it was useless against him. The Immortal Martial Academy is indeed very powerful, but the same can't be said for the students of the academy. After all, there are all kinds of birds in the forest. As for the issue of first come first, I'm really sorry. Before Brother Qin spoke, I had already made my move. So, no matter what, I should be the one to do it first," Lin Xian indifferently stated. The surrounding cultivators were all shocked. This young scholar looked weak, but when he spoke, he wasn't weak at all. He actually dares to compete with someone from the Immortal Martial Academy. How audacious. Not necessarily, he might be an expert. The crowd discussed. They felt that this young scholar might be extraordinary, and was also an expert. As for Leng Yu and Chinda, their faces were gloomy. Chinda stared at Lin Xian with an unfriendly gaze. If they weren't in public, he would have killed Lin Xian with a single palm strike. Leng Yu sneered, "Since you insist, there's nothing I can do. As for the order you mentioned, we really didn't see it. How about this? Let's let the people from the Warbeast Castle decide. They definitely know who arrived first. What do you think?" Leng Yu stood with his hands behind his back, full of confidence. At this moment, the middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle quickly said, "Young Master Qin arrived first, so he should be the one to fight first." "Ah, how about it? You shouldn't be able to refute the words of the Warbeast Castle, right?" Leng Yu looked at Lin Xian, and a hint of ridicule appeared at the corner of his mouth. He had long guessed this outcome. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. Although no one noticed, there were still many cultivators who saw that it was Lin Xian who moved first. The people of the Warbeast Castle should also know about this, but now the other party said that Chinda had arrived first. The meaning of this was self-evident. It seemed that the young scholar was going to be unlucky. Lin Xian looked at the expression of Leng Yu and the middle-aged man, and suddenly understood. He sneered in his heart. If he guessed correctly, this arrogant young man was in cahoots with the Warbeast Castle. However, he didn't point it out, but the corner of his mouth slightly raised. If that's the case, then I'll wait for a while. I think it won't be long before I can go on stage. Lin Xian chuckled, then walked to the side, opened his folding fan and rested comfortably. Leng Yu snorted, then smiled at Chinda and said, "Brother Chin, please?" Chinda nodded, then stared at Lin Xian. "If I go on stage, you won't have any chance." "That's not necessarily true." Lin Xian smiled faintly. "Idiot." Leng Yu sneered in his heart. He had already arranged everything, how could there be a mistake? Chinda also had an insolent look. "Kid, open your eyes wide and see what a genius is." Then he quickly walked into the Warbeast cage. "How is it? Are you ready?" Leng Yu asked through telepathy. "Don't worry, young Master Yu, the beast tamer is ready. This time, that beast won't even be able to use half of its strength." The middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle also replied through telepathy. Warbeast Castle. This Warbeast Castle was actually a force of the Lung family. No wonder Leng Yu was so confident. Leng Yu gave Chinda a dun look, then retreated to the side. Buzz. A huge blue light array was formed, covering the entire Warbeast cage to prevent the energy from leaking out. At the same time, beside the middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle, there was a martial artist in a big black robe, secretly controlling the golden feather condor in the array. "Be my mount obediently, this is your glory." Chinda sneered and quickly rushed toward the golden feather condor. Boom. A terrifying big palm fell, grabbing at the golden feather condor. Although its strength was suppressed, its power was still very terrifying. As a mutated beast, the golden feather condor was arrogant. How could it allow a human to challenge it? So in the next moment, it also launched an attack, grabbing at Chinda. A huge golden claw, covering the sky, quickly grabbed down as if it could tear everything apart. Clang. The two clashed and a terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Fortunately, there was the blue array or the surroundings would have been turned into ruins. The spectators in the surroundings were shocked as they carefully observed the scene before them. Bang, bang, bang. Chinda attacked consecutively. His huge palm covered the sky and was like a huge mountain, rapidly attacking his opponent. Thunder sounds could be heard every time he attacked. On the other hand, although the golden feather condor was enraged, it was completely suppressed. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect the powerful golden feather condor to be suppressed the moment it attacked. As expected of a disciple of the Immortal Martial Academy, he's really powerful. Yeah, even if his cultivation base is suppressed, he's still incomparably powerful. Everyone praised. "Brother Chin, well done. Brother Chin, you can do it." Leng Yu led a group of people and cheered loudly. He wanted Chinda to feel the feeling of being revered and worshipped. However, not everyone thought so. Some experts also discovered some clues and their expressions changed greatly. But due to their fear of the Warbeast Castle and the Immortal Martial Academy, they didn't dare to say anything. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as he coldly laughed in his heart. With his eyes, he could naturally see that the strength of the golden feather condor was suppressed. Most probably, it couldn't even unleash half of its strength. If not, Chinda wouldn't be its opponent at all. "It's a beast tamer." The dark red divine dragon slid out from Lin Xian's sleeves as it transmitted its voice. "Beast tamer?" Lin Xian was somewhat astonished. "Yes, a cultivator who can subdue or even control demonic beasts. They have special methods to prevent this stupid condor from unleashing its strength." So this is the case. Lin Xian understood. After that, he swept his gaze over. Very quickly, his gaze landed on the black-robed figure beside the middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle. Chapter 792. If he didn't guess wrongly, this black-robed man was a beast tamer. Moreover, he could sense that the other party's palm hidden in his wide sleeves was constantly forming seals. It seemed to be forming some kind of mysterious force that was restraining the golden-feathered divine condor. Soul power? Lin Xian smiled. Although he didn't know how to tame beasts, he could still destroy the other party's plan. A trace of soul power was released, forming an invisible attack that rushed towards the void. Chi-chi. Lin Xian used his soul power as a sword to forcefully interfere with the other party's control. Boom. Sure enough, in the next moment, the golden-feathered divine condor screeched in the blue array. Its demonic aura soared into the sky and turned into golden flames that burned fiercely. A terrifying and violent aura gushed out like a stormy sea, slapping in all directions. Chinda's expression changed drastically. He was pushed away by the aura and then fell to the ground in a sorry state. Wow! The spectators were in an uproar. They didn't expect such a situation to happen. The battle was originally one-sided. Chinda was suppressing the golden-feathered divine condor and was about to subdue it. Who knew that at the crucial moment, there would be a sudden change? The golden-feathered divine condor that seemed to be on the verge of collapse suddenly had a powerful aura. Its demonic aura was even stronger than the sea. What was going on? Lung Yu's expression was gloomy. She looked at the middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle and gave him a questioning look. The middle-aged man's expression wasn't good either. He turned his head and quickly asked the black-robed man beside him. Someone is interfering. The black-robed man transmitted his voice. However, it shouldn't be a beast tamer. The other party's method was very rough. It was completely for the sake of destroying. Is it under control now? The middle-aged man asked. Don't worry, leave it to me. The black-robed man sneered. Just a layman who didn't know how to use soul power. His 10 fingers danced, forming an inexplicable force that quickly attacked the golden-feathered divine condor, suppressing its strength once again. Soon, the golden-feathered divine condor's body trembled. The powerful golden flames on its body weakened again. Bastard, you're courting death. Chinda saw this and roared. He quickly rushed out, preparing to take down the golden-feathered divine condor to prevent any unexpected accidents. The reason why he didn't make a move just now was to show off in front of everyone and enjoy the admiring gazes. Who knew that the other party would suddenly exert force and push him back? Fortunately, he was calm enough and did not show anything. Now that the other party was weakened again, he could take him down in one fell swoop. Thinking of this, he was proud of his wit. Let it end. Chinda roared in rage and punched out. The terrifying fist was incomparably resplendent, as though it could split the heavens and earth apart, tearing the air apart. Light soared into the sky and covered the entire blue array. The golden-feathered divine condor struggled with all its might and let out an unwilling roar. However, it was still unable to break free from its control. It recovered again? To the side, Lin Xian was also surprised. The other party was able to shake off his interference so quickly. It seemed that he was not a weakling. However, competing with him in soul force was truly courting death. Without any expression on his face, he once again used his soul power to form an invisible sword and quickly slashed at the void. This attack was much more powerful than the previous probing attack. It directly severed the connection between the beast tamer and the golden-feathered divine eagle. Boom. In the next moment, the golden-feathered divine eagle became powerful again. A terrifying aura gushed out in an instant. Golden light filled the air and shone brightly. The beast swung its claws and repelled Chinda's fist. Then it spread its wings and screeched at the sky. On each of its feathers, golden light shone brightly, forming numerous sharp golden swords that flew out rapidly. The void was pierced through, and a terrifying energy swept out in all directions. Chinda was horrified and his expression changed drastically. If he did not suppress his cultivation base, he could still resist this attack. However, now that his cultivation base was suppressed to the spirit-detecting realm, he could not resist at all. No. With a scream, Chinda's face turned pale and he quickly fled to the back. This change once again caused the surrounding cultivators to exclaim in shock. They waited with their eyes wide open, not daring to believe the scene before their eyes. Chinda, who was incomparably arrogant before, was now like a stray dog, fleeing quickly and in a very sorry state. So this is an expert of the Immortal Martial Academy. It's really an eye-opener. Lin Xian sneered coldly. This time he used his spirit energy to let his voice spread clearly in all directions. When these words came out, it instantly caused many people to roar with laughter. However, Chinda's current performance was no different from an ordinary cultivator. How was he an expert? Lung Yu's face was gloomy. He could not care about Lin Xian now and directly transmitted his voice. What's going on? Damn it, someone cut off the connection between my golden-feathered divine eagle. That black-robed man was infuriated. Young Master Yu, what should we do? The middle-aged man also revealed a trace of unease. If Chinda was injured, their plan would be ruined. They had to quickly get rid of the cultivation suppression formation. At the same time, he transmitted his voice to Chinda. Brother Chin, your cultivation base is no longer suppressed. Quickly use your martial soul. After hearing that, Chinda no longer cared about his previous bold words and directly released his martial soul. Boom. The aura of a venerable erupted, incomparably powerful. In the next moment, Chinda let out a long roar, turned around and punched out, colliding with the golden light that filled the sky. Energy exploded, causing the void to tremble. Light soared to the sky, drowning everything. The surrounding cultivators were shocked. They didn't expect Chinda to actually release his martial soul. This was completely different from what the Warbeast Castle said before. However, Chinda clearly didn't care so much. He released his martial soul and engaged in a fierce battle with the golden-feathered divine eagle. On the other side, the black-robed man once again circulated his spirit energy, wanting to regain control of the golden-feathered divine eagle. However, Lin Xian didn't give him a chance. He also controlled his spirit energy to destroy the golden-feathered divine eagle. Damn it, who is it? The black-robed man was furious. He discovered that the other party's spirit energy was very powerful, even surpassing his own. He couldn't accept this. Originally, he thought that the other party was a layman who only knew how to use spirit energy to barge around. He wasn't his opponent at all. But now he discovered that this wasn't the case. Maybe the other party really didn't know how to control demonic beasts, but in terms of spirit energy usage he wasn't inferior to him at all. The middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle also had a gloomy expression. His eyes were like torches as he scanned the surroundings trying to find the culprit. Leng Yu was also on the move. A few of them searched but they didn't find anything. In the end their gaze landed on Lin Xian. At present, the most suspicious person was this seemingly calm young scholar. However, they didn't find anything unusual on Lin Xian. This made them gnash their teeth in hatred. After half a day they didn't even find the culprit. This was even worse than slapping their faces directly. Lin Xian's expression was calm, but he sneered in his heart. These people still wanted to find his flaw, how laughable. Without the heaven-changing technique, his spirit energy was already incomparably powerful. Now that he had the heaven-changing technique, he could deceive everyone. Chapter 793. Just as these people were looking for the person who had attacked in the dark, the battle in the battle cage changed once again. Although Chinda used his martial spirit and became stronger, the golden-feathered divine condor seemed to be provoked and became incomparably furious. It launched powerful attacks without any regard for its life. It couldn't be helped. It had been really stifled before. The hateful human in front of it had used some unknown method to reduce its strength by half and even suppress it for a while. As an exotic beast it couldn't bear it. Therefore, now that there was a chance, it decided to take revenge. It must kill this abominable human in front of it. The light in his eyes flickered like two suns, emitting incomparably dazzling light. Divine Eagle Eye. Chinda's pupils shrank. He was already on the verge of collapsing. With the addition of the condor eyes, he would definitely be finished. He didn't even want to fight anymore. He just wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. What mount? What reputation? Nothing was more important than his life. Boom. The golden-feathered divine condor unleashed a terrifying attack, blasting Chinda flying again. Scram. Chinda swung his fists, forming fist shadows that filled the sky. It was as if countless meteors were descending with great momentum. However, the golden-feathered godly condor had the godly eagle eyes and could see through everything. Its body was like a golden bolt of lightning, shuttling back and forth between the fist shadows. It was not hurt at all. Instead, it got closer and closer to Chinda. In the next moment, it finally arrived in front of Chinda. With a wave of its sharp claws, it became the size of a house and quickly descended, bringing with it boundless golden light. Chinda spat out a mouthful of blood. He couldn't hold on any longer and was sent flying. He crashed into the blue matrix, causing the earth to tremble. Brother Lung, save me. Finally, Chinda's heart was filled with fear. He no longer dared to fight and quickly called for help. Lung Yu's face was gloomy. He had long wanted to make a move. If Chinda was injured in their bestial battle arena, then all his plans would be ruined. But if he rashly stopped Chinda, he was afraid of hurting Chinda's face, so he was in a dilemma. Now that Chinda took the initiative to speak, he let out a sigh of relief. Without Lung Yu's instructions, the middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle was already prepared. He immediately removed the blue defensive array. Seeing the blue array disappear, Chinda immediately rushed out and quickly fled. The golden-feathered divine eagle cried out and wanted to soar into the sky, but it was firmly restrained by the black-robed beast tamer. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect this to happen. Lin Xian sneered. He waved his folding fan and slowly walked to Chinda's side. Is this the battle of geniuses you wanted me to watch? I don't see any genius. I only see a stray dog. How ironic. Lin Xian said mercilessly. Brat, you're courting death. Chinda was enraged, killing intent surfacing in his eyes. What's wrong? You're tough now? Why was he so cowardly just now? A venerable running away from a rank 9 demonic beast? What a joke. The crowd was stunned as well. They didn't expect that a student of the Immortal Martial Academy would be so weak that he couldn't even withstand a single strike. Chinda was so angry that he was trembling. His lips trembled as he glared at Lin Xian. He wanted nothing more than to tear him apart. However, he couldn't do anything. Firstly, he was injured, and his chi, blood, and spiritual energy were in a mess. Secondly, what the other party said was the truth, so he couldn't refute it. For a moment he was stunned on the spot. His face alternated between red and white, and he wished he could find a hole to hide in. However, this was probably the most miserable day of his life. At this moment Leng Yu walked over. He snorted coldly and said, "This isn't Brother Chen's fault. That beast suddenly went crazy and caught Brother Chen off guard. Didn't you see that Brother Chen was suppressing his opponent in the beginning?" "Mistake." Lin Xian sneered. "Who was the one who boasted shamelessly, saying that he was a genius from the Immortal Martial Academy, and that his strength was so strong that my eyes were wide open? I did observe carefully, but I didn't see how strong he was. Instead, it was the golden-feathered divine condor in the beginning that was so weak that it couldn't even display half of its strength. Someone must have tampered with it, right? What did you say?" Leng Yu's face turned gloomy after being exposed in front of everyone. Killing intent flashed in his eyes as he pointed it at Lin Xian. "What? You dare to do it but don't dare to admit it?" Lin Xian sneered. "Don't treat everyone as fools. I'm not the only one who saw your despicable actions. I'm afraid many people here know about it." "Nonsense, I don't understand what you're talking about," Leng Yu said in a low voice. "Yeah, this isn't Brother Chen's true strength. This is a mistake. If you don't believe me, you can ask the War Beast Arena." The few young men who followed Leng Yu also spoke out. "That's true." Even the middle-aged man from the War Beast Arena spoke out. "This time, it's true that the golden-feathered divine condor went crazy and disturbed young Master Chen. I beg for young Master Chen's forgiveness." Hearing this, everyone was shocked as they looked at this scene in disbelief. They naturally noticed the abnormality from before, but they didn't expect that the people from the War Beast Palace would be so biased. Moreover, it was twice. This caused them to be extremely shocked, and they didn't dare to believe it. One must know that although the War Beast Palace had internal affairs, they still had to maintain fairness in front of everyone. But now, the War Beast Palace didn't even care about this bit of fairness. It was indeed shocking and somewhat chilling. "How is it, kid? Did you hear it? Even the people from the War Beast Palace said that it was that beast that went crazy. What else do you have to say? I think you're just jealous and came here to find trouble." The few young men sneered. "That's right. Didn't you say you'll go? Why don't you go? I think you won't even be able to block a single move when the time comes. Everyone knows how to quarrel. If you have the ability, show me your true strength. If you can win, I'll call you Grandpa." The few of them mocked and ridiculed. They didn't put Lin Xian in their eyes at all. "Of course I'll go," Lin Xian said coldly. "This golden-feathered divine condor was originally mine. It's just that some people want to make a fool of themselves." "Humph, what are you talking about? I don't believe you can subdue it." Chinda refused to accept it. He didn't succeed, so he naturally didn't want others to succeed, especially Lin Xian. If Chinda really subdued it, it would be a slap to his face in front of everyone. He had already suffered a disastrous blow in his life. He couldn't afford to suffer a second time. So he looked at Leng Yu. He knew that Leng Yu had a way to make everyone lose. This meant that it wasn't his strength that was the problem, but the golden-feathered divine condor. This was his only chance to redeem his face. Leng Yu nodded slightly. He naturally knew what Chinda was thinking. He had the same thought. So, he transmitted his voice again to let the middle-aged man and the beast tamer get ready. "This time we can't make a mistake." The middle-aged man whispered to the beast tamer beside him. "Don't worry. Making the golden-feathered divine condor angry is much easier than suppressing it." A confident smile appeared on the black-robed man's face again. "Moreover, after what happened just now, I'm afraid we don't need to instigate it. The golden-feathered divine condor is already in a berserk state. That's for the best. That kid dares to go against us. We won't let him off easily." The middle-aged man's eyes were gloomy. It would be best if he could stay in the cage forever. Eee. Chapter 794. Lin Xian didn't need to eavesdrop at all. Just by looking at their expressions he knew what they were thinking. Sneering in his heart, Lin Xian slowly walked into the cage. Crack. Boom. In the next moment the cage was slammed shut. Then a blue light lit up and quickly formed a blue array that sealed the entire small space. Lin Xian and the golden-feathered divine eagle were locked in the sealed array. Soon, Lin Xian felt an inexplicable force surge out, suppressing his cultivation to the spirit-detecting realm. In the outside world, Leng Yu and the others sneered, waiting for the scene of Lin Xian being torn apart. On the other hand, the surrounding cultivators were very worried and watched nervously. In the cage, the golden-feathered divine eagle was enraged when it saw a human walk in again. It hadn't vented all the anger in its heart before, and now it wanted to vent all of it. It wanted to tear the human in front of it apart. With a furious roar, its demonic aura surged like golden demonic flames. The flames burned, causing the air to distort. It had to be said that the golden-feathered divine eagle was indeed powerful. Although it was only a rank 9 demonic beast, its strength wasn't inferior to a venerable realm cultivator at all. In an instant, the entire cage was enveloped by golden demonic flames as if it was the fire of hell. Seeing this, the middle-aged man and the beast tamer sneered. As expected, the golden-feathered divine eagle will be enraged without us doing anything. However, before the black-robed man's laughter disappeared, his pupils suddenly constricted, and his face was filled with surprise as if someone had grabbed his neck. What? That's impossible. He shrieked in shock. Beside him, the middle-aged man also frowned with an ugly expression. Leng Yu, Chinda, and the others were stunned on the spot. The surrounding cultivators also looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. Many of them swallowed their saliva with difficulty. How is this possible? In the cage, the originally enraged golden-feathered divine eagle was now extremely docile like an obedient sparrow. It didn't look as ferocious as before. The monstrous golden demonic flames had long disappeared. Even the golden-feathered divine eagle was trembling, not daring to get close to Lin Xian. What's going on? Everyone was truly stunned. The golden-feathered divine eagle was an extremely ferocious demonic beast. Previously, it had even killed the black tiger that possessed the power of bloodline. Not only that, not long ago, it had even beaten Chinda to the point where he was heavily injured. That terrifying aura was unforgettable to the spectators. But now, it was as if it had changed into a demonic beast, becoming incomparably docile. This is impossible. Could it be that the scholar has some special means? No special method is possible. No one can make the golden-feathered divine condor so docile. An expert shook his head, unable to understand. Leng Yu and Chinda's faces darkened. Damn it, who the hell is this guy? Especially Chinda, his face was distorted to the point that it didn't look human anymore. His eyes were burning with rage, and his entire person was incomparably savage. It couldn't be helped. He couldn't accept this scene. One had to know that he had been abused by the golden-feathered divine eagle before, and he had almost died. And his opponent, a weak scholar, was actually safe and sound? This huge difference drove him crazy. If Lin Fan really managed to subdue the golden-feathered divine condor, his face would be trampled on by Lin Fan. At that time he would become a joke in Wenfeng City. Damn it, I want him to die. Chinda roared ferociously. On the side, Leng Yu's face was also gloomy. This scholar in front of him had ruined his plan time and time again, causing him to have endless killing intent. He had decided that he must kill Lin Fan here. Hurry up and do it, we can't let him succeed. In the Warbeast Castle, the middle-aged man said coldly. On the side, the black-robed man's face was cold. He quickly used a beast-taming technique to control the golden-feathered divine eagle. He had already recovered from the previous shock. At this moment, his heart was filled with killing intent. At that moment he was mercilessly slapped in the face, so now he must kill Lin Fan. Die, brat. The black-robed man's heart was ferocious. He used a powerful method to make the golden-feathered divine eagle go berserk. Boom. In the cage, the originally docile golden-feathered divine eagle suddenly erupted with a powerful aura again, enveloping the surroundings. In those golden eyes, the original fear was replaced by a touch of madness. On the opposite side, Lin Xian easily revealed a trace of surprise. Just now, he let the dark red divine dragon release a trace of dragon's might to intimidate the golden-feathered divine eagle. That was why the previous scene happened. But now, the golden-feathered divine eagle went berserk again, as if it was not afraid of the dragon's might, which surprised him a little. It seemed that it was because of that beast tamer again. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. He was even more interested in the beast tamer profession. Rumble. The golden-feathered divine eagle went berserk. It immediately opened the divine eagle eye and spread its wings at the same time, condensing countless golden light rays. A powerful and violent aura spread out, filling the entire cage. It was as if a peerless beast had awakened, incomparably terrifying. Off. Countless golden light rays surged out, thousands of them like 10,000 snakes coming out of their holes, pouncing forward. It's here, the ultimate skill of the golden-feathered divine eagle. Everyone exclaimed. Leng Yu, Chinda, and the others also revealed a sneer. This time, that kid would definitely not be able to escape. Are you going to use your ultimate skill? Lin Xian held a folding fan in his hand with a calm expression. In the next moment, he waved his hand, and the spiritual energy behind him surged rapidly, forming a pair of wings. It was a pair of golden wings, and every feather on it was lifelike as if they were real. When the wings spread out, they filled the entire blue array. Boom. The golden wings of spiritual energy vibrated, condensing into 108,000 sword rays that shot out quickly. The two collided, and a shocking explosion occurred, causing the entire blue array to shake non-stop, as if it was about to split open. What kind of martial skill is this? It's the same as the golden-feathered divine eagle's ultimate skill. Everyone was shocked and they were speechless. That young scholar was too mysterious. First, he made the berserk golden-feathered divine eagle docile, then he used its ultimate skill. It was too unbelievable. Leng Yu, Chinda, and the others were even more shocked. They did not expect that the scholar would be so strange. In the cage, dazzling light flashed and soon the victor was decided. 108,000 golden swords were incomparably sharp, and they tore through the void with a terrifying murderous aura. In an instant, they shattered the opponent's golden light rays, and then rushed toward the golden-feathered divine eagle. The void trembled, and it was as if 10,000 lightning bolts were surging, terrifying to the extreme. Boom. The golden-feathered divine eagle was enveloped by the sword rays, and it was sent flying. Feathers fell from the sky like flickering light, and it was incomparably dazzling. So terrifying, is this really the strength of the spirit-detecting realm? Everyone was dumbfounded and they did not dare to believe it. The attack just now was too terrifying. Not to mention the spirit-detecting realm, even a supremacy might not be able to use it. Moreover, what was even more shocking was that the golden-feathered divine eagle was actually defeated. One move, just one move, and the powerful golden-feathered divine eagle was defeated by Lin Xian. Chapter 795. The corner of the middle-aged man's mouth twitched, his face was filled with shock. He had personally cast the formation to suppress the cultivation of the person inside to the harmonious spirit realm. In other words, the opponent had defeated the golden-feathered divine condor with a single strike while being only at the spirit-detecting realm. This was simply too shocking. The black-robed man's face was even more ferocious. As a mysterious beast tamer, he was able to tame ferocious demonic beasts. Just now, he had successfully controlled the golden-feathered divine condor and made it go berserk. However, he couldn't change the outcome. He couldn't bear it, he wanted revenge. Gritting his teeth, the black-robed man quickly formed a seal, his eyes revealing a trace of madness. Since he couldn't defeat it, he would perish together with it. In the next moment, the golden-feathered divine condor let out a miserable cry. Its voice was like a devil's voice, piercing through the clouds. On its body, countless golden demonic chi surged and began to burn. It was extremely strange. Those golden eyes were filled with pain and madness. What's going on? Didn't the golden-feathered divine condor lose? It still wants to counterattack? Everyone was stunned, they couldn't believe it. Lin Xian's eyes were gloomy. He naturally knew that this wasn't the original intention of the golden-feathered divine condor. It was the beast tamer behind it who was messing with it. Boom. The golden-feathered divine condor couldn't bear it anymore. Its body gradually expanded, charging towards Lin Xian. It looked like it wanted to perish together. Lin Xian snorted, his soul force gushed out crazily, turning into a soul sword, quickly slashing towards the void. This time he didn't hold back. The invisible attack seemed to have cut some kind of mysterious thread, causing a slight cracking sound. In the next moment, the golden-feathered divine condor's eyes regained clarity, its body gradually stopped. As for the black-robed man, his body trembled, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Impossible. He couldn't stop trembling, his eyes were filled with fear. The opponent's soul force could actually injure him, this was completely out of his expectation. Fear, it was all fear. At this moment, the black-robed man was extremely frightened. He didn't dare to attack again. Moreover, he didn't have the ability to attack anymore. Soul force attacks were extremely strange and dangerous. The slightest carelessness could cost one's life. That sword strike just now had already seriously injured him. He probably wouldn't be able to fight for a few months. The middle-aged man was even more shocked. He knew the strength of this black-robed man. He was a very powerful beast tamer, and his family had spent a lot of money to invite him. But now he was actually injured. We can't let him go. This kid definitely has secrets on him. The black-robed man struggled to speak. Every word he spoke was filled with pain, and his brow furrowed. At such a young age, it was impossible for him to have such powerful soul force. This little brat must have some kind of soul force artifact on him. He had to snatch it. Hearing this, the middle-aged man's eyes flickered with greed. Soul force was the most difficult energy to cultivate. Apart from exalted realm experts, it would be difficult for other cultivators to find a way to cultivate it. Even a venerable one might not have a cultivation technique that specialized in soul power. And now there seemed to be an opportunity. Thinking of this, he sneered again. Inside the cage, Lin Xian severed the beast tamer's control with a single slash of his sword, saving the golden-feathered divine eagle from death. Then he walked in front of the eagle and said coldly, "I know that with your intelligence, you should be able to understand what I'm saying. Are you willing to follow me?" The golden-feathered divine eagle lay weakly on the ground. At this moment, when it heard Lin Xian's words, its golden eyes flickered. Without any hesitation, it quickly nodded. Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. He took out a cup of spirit wine and fed it to it. Not long after, the golden-feathered divine eagle stood up. It flapped its wings and came to Lin Xian's side. Then it rubbed its head against Lin Xian intimately. "All right, follow me. In the future you will definitely surpass the extraordinary." Lin Xian patted it. "Let's go." He turned around and walked outside. However, in the next moment, he frowned because the door of the cage did not open. Even the blue array outside did not disappear. The people outside were also in an uproar. Lin Xian had successfully subdued the golden-feathered divine eagle, which shocked them. Quite a few people cheered and cheered for him. After all, in this world people worship the strong. However, what shocked them was that Lin Xian seemed to be trapped in the cage and could not come out. As for the people of the Warbeast Castle, they did not make any moves. It seemed that they had no intention of releasing the captive. For a moment the atmosphere became a little strange. Leng Yu and Qin De sneered malevolently. Originally, Lin Xian had subdued the golden-feathered divine eagle, which made them feel uncomfortable and embarrassed. But now they were no longer afraid because they wanted to make him stay here forever. Hehe, so what if you have the golden-feathered divine eagle? You will just die with it. Qin De's face was distorted. In the cage, Lin Xian frowned and turned to look at the Warbeast Castle. "What do you mean? You can't bear to part with it, or you can't afford to lose? Young hero, you misunderstood." The middle-aged man smiled and said, "After the competition just now, we found that the golden-feathered divine eagle is very abnormal and has a tendency to destroy. For your safety we will first take it back. After ensuring your safety we will give it to you." In front of everyone, the middle-aged man acted like a good person and said with concern, "Are you sure it's safe?" Lin Xian smiled, "I don't need it. Hurry up and guard the door." How could he not know the other party's plan? He was afraid that they wanted to renege on the debt. That won't do. After all, this demonic beast came from our Warbeast Castle. If it injures you, it will not be good for our castle's reputation. The middle-aged man slowly said. Yeah, the Divine Wind Warbeast Castle pays great attention to safety, so you should wait for a while. Leng Yu walked out. After ensuring your safety, we will certainly give it to you. Oh, by the way, young hero, please move. Let us entertain you. The people of the Warbeast Castle smiled and said. Their words carried a hint of coldness. The surrounding martial artists were shocked. This was obviously the Warbeast Castle wanting to renege on the debt. Moreover, they had bad intentions. Thinking of this, everyone sighed. It seemed that the scholar was in danger. After all, no matter how powerful he was, he would not be able to fight against a huge Warbeast Castle. Bang! The blue array blossomed and formed countless blue light pillars. They quickly fell and trapped the golden-feathered divine eagle. The golden-feathered divine eagle was furious. It quickly charged forward but to no avail. It was unable to rush out. "You guys want to fight?" Lin Xian asked coldly. "How could that be? We are just thinking about young hero's safety. We have good intentions." Although the middle-aged man was smiling, his laughter was very cold. "I think you should agree. Don't let down the war beast castle's good intentions." Leng Yu also revealed a trace of evil smile. "Don't worry, we will finish the inspection soon. At that time, we will definitely return the golden-feathered divine eagle to you. Now take the golden-feathered divine eagle away." Chapter 796. Lin Xian had successfully captured the golden-feathered divine condor, but the war-beast castle did not let him go. This scene was beyond everyone's expectations. Especially when the big blue hand was about to grab the golden-feathered divine condor, it caused an uproar. Many people were furious. They did not believe the war-beast castle's nonsense. Lin Xian naturally did not believe it either. His face was gloomy and his eyes turned cold. "I'll say it again. Let it go and open the prison door." Boom. While his voice was still echoing, the blue light in the sky shone brightly, forming 6 huge light pillars. Together with the ground, it formed a hexagram-sealed space enveloping Lin Xian. "Young hero, don't be anxious. Wait here for a while." The middle-aged man revealed a sinister smile. "There might be danger during the inspection later, so we'll put down the defensive formation to protect you." "Protect?" Even the onlookers' mouths twitched. How was this protection? This was obviously imprisonment. Lin Xian looked at the sealed light formation around him and laughed, as if he had heard a funny joke. However, his eyes were cold like a sharp sword, incomparably fierce. "You guys, do you really think you've got me? Young hero, why do you think so?" The middle-aged man sneered. "This light formation is inscribed by a formation grandmaster. It can even resist the attack of a venerable. It can definitely protect you." "That's right. You just stay here." Leng Yu sneered. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. To be able to resist the attack of a venerable, it was definitely very powerful. Perhaps the scholar was really done for. "Seems like you guys are very confident." Lin Xian said lightly, then raised his finger and quickly drew in the air. Buzz. Ka. The next moment, the huge and dazzling hexagram-sealed space suddenly trembled and made a cracking sound. Then, it burst open and turned into countless fragments. Lin Xian looked calm. He walked out from inside and said slowly, "Did you guys remember wrongly, or was the formation grandmaster lying to you? Is this formation really as powerful as you think it is?" As he spoke, he waved his finger again and drew a sword chi surging upwards. Suddenly, the blue palm that caught the golden-feathered divine condor cracked like glass and scattered on the ground. The golden-feathered divine condor spread its wings and soared into the sky. It regained its freedom and quickly returned to Lin Xian's side. "Why do I feel that he's pitifully weak?" What? The middle-aged man's pupils constricted as he stood rooted to the ground. Leng Yu's face was also filled with fear. He screamed, "You broke it? How is this possible?" Shocking, too shocking. Everyone in the Colosseum was stunned. It was as if they had seen a ghost. They didn't dare to believe it. Chinda's body trembled as he shook his head frantically. "Impossible, this is impossible." He was well aware of the power of the blue light array. Previously, he had not been able to break it with his martial soul, but now, his opponent had actually broken it. What shocked them even more was that Lin Xian hadn't used his full strength to blast it open. Instead, he had casually waved his finger and destroyed the entire massive defensive formation. This was too shocking. Lin Xian had a smile on his face as he swept his gaze across the crowd. When Leng Yu felt that gaze, her body instantly trembled as fear rose in her heart. As for Chinda, he was even more unbearable. He was so frightened that he took 5 steps back. Trash." Lin Xian retracted his gaze and said disdainfully. Chinda's complexion turned ashen, but he didn't dare to make a move. Leng Yu's complexion wasn't good either. He could only snort coldly to express his dissatisfaction. Everyone was shocked. This young scholar was too domineering. Just a gaze was enough to scare 2 young geniuses. Lin Xian retracted his gaze and looked at the middle-aged man and the black-robed man from the Colosseum. The black-robed man's body also trembled. As a beast tamer, his soul power was very sensitive. He discovered that the soul power fluctuation on Lin Xian's body was exactly the same as the soul aura that had injured him. After hearing this news, his eyes were filled with fear. He didn't dare to look at Lin Xian. The middle-aged man's face sank as he coldly said, Our Colosseum was kind enough to protect young hero, but young hero destroyed our formation. This isn't too good. Not too good? Lin Xian laughed. You're still pretending even now. You're really good at acting. I don't understand what you're talking about. The middle-aged man had no choice but to bite the bullet and say, "Humph." Lin Xian retracted his smile. He looked at the middle-aged man from the Colosseum and coldly said, "You're saying that the golden feather divine eagle went crazy?" "Exactly. We just wanted to find the reason to ensure young hero's safety," the middle-aged man said in a deep voice. "You're really shameless." Lin Xian sneered. "What did you say?" The middle-aged man was furious. He stared at Lin Xian with an unkind expression. "Young man, be careful with your words. You should know that you can't just say anything. Some words will cost you your life if you say them." "Threatening me?" Lin Xian closed his folding fan and said in a clear voice, "I think there's no need for your Colosseum to continue operating." He turned his head and looked at the onlookers. "I think all of you are clear about what happened today. But due to some people's influence, you don't dare to say it. But I'll say it for you. This battle was obviously set up by the Colosseum to please others. From the very beginning, they didn't let others fight. They specifically let the people they selected to fight. Not only that, they also suppressed the strength of the golden feather divine eagle, making it weak. All the experts here can see this. They obviously want to give the golden feather divine eagle away. If they want to give it away, they can just do it secretly. But to use it as a competition to deceive many warriors and play with them in the palm of their hand, is this the way of the Colosseum? What's funny is that this genius Chin is really trash. He can't even take away the things in his hands. However, when I went on stage, they secretly let the beast tamers control the demon beasts, making them go crazy and attack without any regard for their own lives. They even wanted to make the golden feather divine eagle self-destruct. Fortunately, I stopped it and successfully subdued it. But how did they do it? I think everyone saw it. They sealed the space, forcibly captured the golden feather divine eagle, and even wanted to imprison me. If it wasn't because I have some strength, I'm afraid I would have already been killed by them." Lin Xian said coldly, "Such a Colosseum, do you dare to go? They only allow their people to obtain the demon beast. If the others win, they will be killed. Do you dare to come? Aren't you afraid of being killed by them one day?" Lin Xian's words were sharp, and his voice was vast and mighty. The surrounding warriors were discussing noisily. Indeed, they had all seen what happened today. They weren't fools, so they could naturally understand what happened. And this young scholar's words weren't wrong at all. Presumptuous, a bunch of nonsense. The middle-aged man was furious. He shouted coldly, "Men, capture this person who is spreading lies to mislead the crowd." Huff huff huff. Suddenly, countless figures flew out from the Colosseum and formed a huge circle, surrounding Lin Xian. "What's wrong? You've been exposed and now you're angry?" Lin Xian sneered. "Humph, brat, no matter what you say, today is the day you die." Ling Yu roared ferociously. He had a stomach full of anger, and only by killing the other party could he vent his anger. Seeing this tense scene, the crowd of warriors frowned even more. Chapter 797. Seeing this tense scene, the crowd of martial artists frowned even more. This divine wind warbeast castle was really too overbearing. Did they really think that ordinary martial artists were easy to bully? "I think the fault doesn't lie with this young hero," someone said. "Yes, I think the warbeast castle should apologize," another expert said. With someone taking the lead, these onlookers also became unyielding. One by one, they shouted angrily and loudly berated the warbeast castle. The people of the warbeast castle were dissatisfied at first and wanted to suppress them. However, they underestimated the power of the crowd. Although the individual strength of these martial artists was weak, when combined together, it was a powerful force. Rebel, all rebel. The middle-aged man was trembling with anger. Lung Yu clenched his fists and stared at Lin Xian. His eyes were full of murderous aura. It was all because of this hateful brat in front of him who ruined his perfect plan. Unforgivable, absolutely unforgivable. Feeling the murderous aura, Lin Xian turned his head and revealed a trace of disdain at the corner of his mouth. "You dare to make a move? Damn it." Lung Yu's face was ashen. He really didn't have the confidence and didn't dare to make a move. The other party could easily break the defensive array. He was definitely a powerhouse. Even the elders of the family might not be able to do this. Lung Yu took a deep breath and said to the martial artists of the warbeast castle beside him, "Kill him for me, You want to kill him? First ask if we agree or not. Those martial artists in the crowd were angry and fought back. Each and every one of them looked agitated. Apologize, you must apologize for this matter. If you dare to touch him, you will be our enemy. A group of people stood in front of Lin Xian and berated angrily. Leng Yu was stunned. He didn't understand why these people were so agitated. This matter had nothing to do with them. However, these martial artists who were usually timid were as if they were injected with chicken blood and refused to budge an inch. How could he know that this time the Warbeast Castle's approach was too excessive? Not only did they target Lin Xian, but they also made these ordinary martial artists feel unsafe. If the Warbeast Castle killed Lin Xian today, then the ones who would die tomorrow would be them. If they couldn't suppress the arrogant attitude of the Warbeast Castle and bully martial artists, then their situation would be very dangerous in the future. That was why these people rose up in revolt. It could be said that this time the Warbeast Castle not only touched the interests of Lin Xian, but also the interests of all the ordinary martial artists. Leng Yu was also afraid when she heard the angry shouts of the several hundred people. Her expression was extremely ugly. Chinda, on the other hand, was even more unbearable. He was so scared that he peed his pants and hid in a corner, not daring to come out. The middle-aged man from the Warbeast Castle was so angry that his whole body was trembling. The scene in front of him was completely unexpected. He originally thought that there was no difficulty in killing a little thief. But from the looks of it now, it was impossible to implement. Elder, what should we do? A disciple of the Warbeast Castle asked. Retreat. The middle-aged man gritted his teeth and said. Retreat. Once the order was given, those Warbeast Castle's people retreated and confronted those excited people. Little thief, I don't know what kind of demonic technique you have to be able to incite these people. But remember, the golden feathered divine eagle is a demonic beast on the earth ranking. It's not that easy to take it. If you return it now, I can pretend that nothing happened. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Although you are fine today, but in the future. The middle-aged man threatened. Actually, his heart was bleeding. The reason why he was so furious was because his plan to curry favor with the Qin family had failed. Moreover, the golden feathered divine eagle was very precious. It was a demonic beast that was ranked 97th on the earth ranking. Any demonic beast that could enter the earth ranking was not an ordinary beast. And those that could enter the top 100 were even more rare and exotic beasts. This golden feathered divine eagle was ranked 97th on the earth ranking. Although it hadn't grown up, its potential was unlimited. It was also a treasure in their Warbeast Castle. Originally they wanted to bribe Chinda, but they didn't expect that Lin Xian would benefit from it. You don't need to worry about whether I can keep it or not. Lin Xian said indifferently. Humph, let's go. The middle-aged man's eyes were gloomy and cold. He waved his sleeve and brought a group of martial artists back to the Warbeast Castle. However, he secretly decided that he would release the news of the golden feathered divine eagle. Even if he couldn't get it, he wouldn't let the other party get it. The people of the Warbeast Castle left. The surrounding martial artists all cheered. Many of them congratulated Lin Xian. Brother, you are too strong. You actually subdued the golden feathered divine eagle in one move. That's nothing. The martial skill that broke the defensive formation in one sword move is more powerful. I'm afraid that even the elders of the Warbeast Castle can't do it. May I ask which force brother is from? Everyone started asking questions one after another. Lin Xian replied with a smile. He then said to everyone, thank you for your help just now. Let's go and have a drink. Let's go. The group of people left in a grandiose manner. At the same time, the Divine Wind Warbeast Castle used their power to spread the news of the golden feathered divine eagle. It immediately caused quite a stir. Many forces were jealous. Especially those young martial artists, they were even more excited. This kind of demonic beast was still a cub. It was the best battle pet. If they could get it, it would be a great help in the future. Therefore, everyone moved and quickly looked for the golden feathered divine eagle in the city. On the other side, Lin Xian and the rest came to a restaurant. Everyone rushed in and filled the entire restaurant. Fortunately, this was a big restaurant. It was enough to accommodate everyone. Lin Xian and the rest ordered wine and dishes. They gathered together and drank to their heart's content. In the end, everyone drank to their heart's content and left. Lin Xian bid farewell to everyone and returned to the courtyard that he secretly rented. Brother Xian, you are back. Yu Fei came out to welcome him. What is this? What a terrifying demonic beast. He felt the demonic aura on the other party's body. He immediately exclaimed. Golden feathered divine eagle, a type of demonic beast. Let's talk inside, Lin Xian said. Then he entered the courtyard and told Yu Fei about what had happened. This Lung clan is really too much. Yu Fei was furious. Brother Xian, do you want to bring people here and destroy the Lung clan? No hurry. Lin Xian waved his hand. Now is not the time. The Wanxiang auction is getting closer and there are more and more experts in the city. At this time, there should not be a big conflict. This auction is very important to me, so I can't lose it. Then we're just going to let it go? Yu Fei was unwilling to give up. Let it go? How is that possible? Lin Xian sneered. Wait until the auction is over, then we'll deal with them. Next, Lin Xian asked Yu Fei to secretly gather information about the Lung clan and the Huang clan. Only when he understood the other party's strength would he be able to make a move. Phew. This emperor is suffocating. The dark red divine dragon was like a loach as it quickly ran out of the demonic beast bag. At the same time, the snow-white little monkey came out. After they came out, they stared at the golden-feathered divine eagle. Buff, buff, buff. The golden-feathered divine eagle, who had its head held high and chest puffed out, trembled in fear when it saw the dark red divine dragon and the snow-white little monkey. Kept retreating. The aura of the two beasts made it instinctively afraid. Chapter 798. The golden-feathered divine eagle trembled as if it was about to kneel down. It's been a long time since I've eaten roasted eagle wings. The dragon was drooling. The golden-feathered divine eagle trembled even more and almost fainted. Wuji, the snow-white monkey, jumped over and looked at it curiously. Then it jumped onto the eagle's body with a swoosh, looking very happy. However, the golden-feathered divine eagle was scared half to death. It crawled on the ground and didn't dare to move. All right, you two, stop scaring it, Lin Xian said helplessly. Stupid bird, listen carefully. You're our little brother in the future. If anyone dares to bully you, I'll help you. The dragon waved its dragon claws and said. The golden-feathered divine eagle nodded carefully. It didn't have the heroic appearance from before. It was like a docile little chick. Next, Lin Xian rested for 2 days before he went out again. After putting the golden-feathered divine eagle into the demonic beast pouch, Lin Xian turned into a young scholar again. He waved the folding fan in his hand and appeared in the city. This time he went to a tea house and ordered a pot of spirit tea. He slowly tasted it. There were martial artists from all over the place gathered together and chatted with each other. I heard that there are many good things in this auction. There's even a half-earth rank treasure weapon. Of course, I heard that it's called the Lone Star Sword. Many swordsmen came this time for this treasure sword. Other than that, there was also a rare refining material like the Phoenix blood copper. Everyone was discussing excitedly. However, what they talked about the most was still the things in the city. Have you heard? A few days ago, someone caused a ruckus in the Divine Wind Warbeast Castle and won the golden-feathered divine eagle. Golden-feathered divine eagle? That strange beast that's ranked 97th on the Earth ranking? Someone was shocked. Yes, although it's a strange beast now, it'll definitely be terrifying when it grows up in the future. What's going on? Why is the Divine Wind Warbeast Castle willing to let such a strange beast out? It can't be helped. I heard that it's a young scholar who's very strong. Although his cultivation was suppressed, he still has the strength of a venerable. That's why he won the strange beast. Everyone was discussing fervently. I guess that scholar must be from some big power. He might be a genius-level character. Yeah, it's said that even the disciples of the Immortal Martial Academy are no match for him. Many people began to guess the other party's identity. Thud, thud, thud. At this moment, a loud sound echoed in the tea house like a bell and drum. His voice wasn't loud, but it reached everyone's ears clearly as if he was right beside them. However, in the next moment some people began to tremble because that voice became extremely demonic. It was as if a lightning hammer was smashing down on their hearts, making them tremble. Many of the weaker martial artists had flushed faces, as if they had suffered internal injuries. Soon there was a voice at the top of the stairs. This was a youth dressed in red. His black hair was like a waterfall and his eyes were long and narrow. They were extremely bright, like sword radiance, incomparably fierce. He was like a sword god standing there, giving people a sense of oppression. What genius scholar! That's because he hasn't seen me yet. If he sees me, I'll suppress him with one hand. This young man had a handsome face and a tall and straight figure, but his words were very sharp, causing people to frown. Behind him there were 6 beautiful women. Each of them held a sword in their arms. Some were simple and unadorned while others were luxurious. Obviously these 6 swords were all famed swords. At this moment an oval-faced girl walked out from behind. She came to the nearest table and said coldly, "My young master has requisitioned this table. Leave quickly." The girl's voice was cold, then she threw out a bag of spirit stones. "Fuck, what do you think we are? Beggars? Do you really think we're pushovers?" Those people were originally the heroes of the pugilistic world, so they were naturally furious when they encountered such a situation. Clang, clang. A few of them unsheathed their swords, looking at the oval-faced girl with ferocious eyes. "You overestimate yourselves." The oval-faced girl sneered. Then she waved her jade-like hand, striking a series of mysterious palm shadows in the air. They were like floating lights, extremely mysterious and profound. Bang bang bang. In an instant the 3 people in front of the table screamed and flew out of the window. The whole process was very fast. In the blink of an eye the table was emptied. Then another 2 young men came from behind. They formed a seal with their hands, forming a cloud of mist to clean the entire table. Then they took out a handkerchief and wiped it carefully. "Young master, please take a seat." The red-clothed young man grunted, then slowly sat down. The 6 girls began to get busy. One took out spirit tea, one took out spirit liquid, and one took out a good purple teapot to brew tea. The teapot wasn't big, but it emitted a purple light. It was actually a treasure. Looking at the extravagant and domineering red-clothed young man, many people's eyelids twitched. Needless to say, this was another genius from a large faction. Lin Xian sat in the corner and looked at this scene, frowning slightly. He didn't expect to see this group of people again. The red-clothed young man's ostentation shocked many people, but there were some who were unconvinced. They sneered, "You're too arrogant. As far as I know, there are very few martial artists in the spirit-detecting realm who can exert the strength of an exalt. That scholar is definitely a genius. I don't know what ability you have to say such words. How dare you speak to my young master like that?" The oval-faced girl Chen Chen shouted coldly. "What, am I wrong?" The martial artist sneered, "Do you think you're strong just because you're ostentatious?" The red-clothed young man snorted coldly. It was like a clap of thunder, causing many people's blood to boil, especially the martial artist who spoke. His body was trembling and his face was full of shock. "It's just a cross-level battle. What's the big deal? You're really a frog at the bottom of a well. I could have easily won a battle like this 3 years ago. Now, one hand is enough to beat him." The red-clothed young man was very confident and domineering. "What big words. That scholar is very young. He seems to be less than 20 years old, and his strength is probably at the 2nd level of the venerable realm. He's not invincible among the younger generation, but he's probably a top expert. How can you suppress such a person? Ignorant. How can you guess my strength?" The red-clothed young man Hong Wuji said disdainfully, "I can suppress a 2nd-level venerable realm cultivator." Hearing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Looking at the red-clothed young man, it didn't seem like he was pretending. Could it be that he really had such ability? "May I ask which faction you're from?" someone asked. "Trash like you don't deserve to know," the red-clothed young man said arrogantly. That person was furious and his face turned green and red. Obviously, he didn't expect the other party to be so arrogant and humiliate him in front of his face. What big words at such a young age. You should know that only geniuses who grow up will be strong in the future. An old man snorted. He was very dissatisfied with the red-clothed young man's attitude. "You don't have the right to judge whether I can grow up or not," Hong Wuji said disdainfully, "but I know that at least I won't be like you, living for so long and only being a 1st-level venerable realm cultivator." Chapter 799. Hong Wuji's words made the old man tremble in anger. He had lived for 200 years, but his cultivation was only at 1st-level honorable realm. That was indeed his pain. But now it was actually exposed in public. This was a slap to his face. Moreover, it was an arrogant junior. "Humph, let me see what right you have to be arrogant." The old man snorted and stretched out his palm. It formed a mountain and pressed down quickly. The entire space cracked as if it was about to split open. The mountain formed by the palm was real and terrifying. Its power was even heavier than the real mountain. Thousands of waves surged and pressed down on Hong Wuji. "Clown, I'll let you know what it means to be a young genius." Hong Wuji sneered. He sat there and continued to drink tea, but his left hand was like a sword and stabbed upward. A ray of sword chi was as bright as a divine light. It was sharp and terrifying and instantly slashed the mountain. Crack, crack, crack. A low rumbling sound spread out. Countless cracks appeared on the huge mountain-like palm, and they rapidly spread out like a python web. Bang. In the end, the mountain exploded and turned into spiritual chi and disappeared. The old man grunted and took a few steps back. His face was full of shock. His right palm had been deformed and blood kept flowing out. It was as if he had been injured by a divine sword. The surrounding martial artists were even more shocked. A casual attack had seriously injured a first-level honorable realm. The strength of the young man in red was too terrifying. He was at least a second-level honorable realm or even stronger. Now, do you believe that I can suppress any scholar with one hand? Hong Wuji said confidently. This guy is really arrogant. The dark red dragon in his sleeve was angry. Kid, I can't take it anymore. Its body changed shape and turned into a palm-sized snake. It quickly slithered out. You're really shameless. You think you're invincible after injuring a first-level honorable realm? A disdainful voice was heard. I think you're the frog at the bottom of the well. Everyone was shocked. The young man in red had already proven his strength. Now that he dared to speak rudely to him, he must be an expert. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw a young man in blue drinking tea alone with his back facing them. Although it was only his back view, his calm and steady aura showed that he was extraordinary. Injuring a first heaven venerable realm cultivator is nothing. It's just that there aren't any more powerful cultivators here. Otherwise we could all suppress them together. Hong Wuji was still as arrogant as ever. As for you, if you're not convinced, then feel free to attack. I will let you know the definition of a genius. Insolent, too insolent. Lin Xian's face was also gloomy. This guy was really arrogant. He really wanted to walk over and kick him in the face. The dark red dragon coiled around Lin Xian's hair howled in anger. Fuck, you're pissing me off. Despite living for so long, he had never seen such an arrogant fellow before. At this moment someone asked, May I know your name? This was a young man who had also reached the first level of the honorable realm. Furthermore, he was at the peak of the first level of the honorable realm. It could be said that he was also a young genius. Yes, you are qualified to know. The red-clothed young man nodded slightly. Remember my name, Hong Wuji. Hong Wuji. Is he from the Red Leaf Valley? Everyone was shocked, but they soon understood. No wonder he's so arrogant and powerful. He's from the Red Leaf Valley. At the same time, everyone was even more shocked. A first heaven venerable realm cultivator was only qualified to know his name. How powerful was this red-clothed young man? Hong Wuji? The dark red dragon snorted coldly. Never heard of him. As for the Red Leaf Valley, I don't even know about it. Judging from the name, could it be some kind of tourist attraction? Hey, red-clothed young man, how much is the ticket to your house? A mocking and teasing voice echoed in the tea house. The voice was strange, but no one dared to laugh. Someone actually dared to joke about the Red Leaf Valley. He was really arrogant. As expected, Hong Wuji's face darkened as soon as he said that. His entire body emitted a terrifying murderous aura. Countless sword lights formed in the air, densely packed and filling the entire space. The terrifying aura made people's scalps tingle and tremble. The maid also shouted angrily, How dare you insult the Red Leaf Valley? You're courting death. The oval-faced girl and the round-faced girl dashed out at the same time. Their bodies were like lightning as they rushed toward Lin Xian. The aura on their bodies was powerful and carried the power of their martial souls. Everyone was shocked. They thought that the 6 girls were ordinary maids, but they didn't expect them to be martial arts experts. Their cultivation had definitely reached the first heaven venerable realm. The red-clothed young man was really generous to have 6 first heaven venerables as his maids. In an instant, the 2 girls arrived behind Lin Xian. They waved their jade-like hands, striking out a dazzling palm shadow. The terrifying aura made people tremble. However, Lin Xian didn't turn around. He struck back, and his terrifying spiritual energy turned into a golden mountain and pushed it out quickly. The void trembled as if thousands of beasts were galloping. The terrifying golden mountain carried a huge force and collided with the countless palm shadows. The attack made the entire tea house tremble as if it was about to split open. There were countless experts in Wind-Seeking City. The owner of the tea house was also a martial arts expert, so he naturally had defensive measures. Rays of colorful light surged out and quickly formed a defense to protect the tea house. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief and looked up to watch the battle. The golden mountain was extremely powerful. It was like a giant beast that had appeared. The terrifying and mysterious palm shadow struck it, but it didn't have any effect. Instead, the rebounding force scattered the palm shadows that filled the sky. In an instant, the oval-faced girl and the round-faced girl were pushed back by a huge force. Bang! Bang! The two of them kept retreating. Every step they took could crack the ground. However, at this time, a complicated pattern appeared on the ground, forming a screen of light. The terrifying force was negated, and the entire tea house was preserved. The oval-faced girl and the round-faced girl stopped with difficulty. Then they looked up, their eyes full of shock. Although they were just maids, they were definitely First Heaven Venerables in terms of strength. Moreover, they were the strongest First Heaven Venerables. The two girls combined could fight against a Second Heaven Venerable Realm expert, but they couldn't even block a single attack. It was simply too hard to be confident. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Originally, they were mourning for that person, but they didn't expect that person didn't even move his body. He only used a backhand attack to push back two experts. Now they couldn't even see his face. They could only see his back. However, his back was like a boundless mountain that they could only look up to. Set up the sword formation. The oval-faced girl and the round-faced girl wanted to join forces with the other six to set up the sword formation. Chapter 800. At this moment, the six girls pulled out their swords from their waists and quickly formed a sword array, which quickly enveloped Yi Shiwen. Lin Xian's expression darkened as well. He had held back in that attack just now. However, the other party did not repent and even gathered 6 people to form a sword formation to kill him. Did they really think that he was a pushover? The dark red dragon also roared, "6 little girls, how shameless. Are you trying to bully me with numbers? Come, come, come. I'll keep you company. If you can make this emperor turn around, then it's your win." The voice was very strange, like the roar of a 1,000-year-old demon. It made one's scalp tingle. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth twitched. This ruffian dragon was too provocative, but he did not stop it. The other party was so arrogant, saying that they would suppress him with one hand. How arrogant. Even a clay figurine had a temper, not to mention that Lin Xian was not someone who would be bullied. So this time he planned to knock down the other party and put out the arrogance of the Red Leaf Valley. You're courting death. When the 6 girls heard the dark red dragon's mockery, their faces darkened, and their delicate bodies trembled. Of course, they did not notice the dark red dragon's existence, so they could only vent their anger on Lin Xian. The 6 girls swayed, and like divine light, they quickly shot out 6 beams of sword chi, slashing toward Lin Xian. The 6 beams of sword chi were extremely sharp, like divine light in the sky, shining with a terrifying light. Everyone gasped. This attack was too terrifying, and it could definitely split mountains and rivers. Even a second-level venerable could not block it. However, Lin Xian still did not turn around. He formed a seal with his right hand and quickly swept it out, drawing an arc in the air. Seal of mountains and rivers. He had the dragon sword soul, which could simulate all offensive saint techniques. This seal of mountains and rivers was stimulated by the power of the dragon sword soul. The air fluctuated like a scroll rolling, forming a huge golden mountain. It spun out and suppressed the surroundings. Boom. The golden mountain fell, and the terrifying power sent the 6 beams of sword chi flying. Oomph. Seeing that the sword chi was shattered, the oval-faced girl snorted coldly and led the 5 to attack again. The sword chi flashed and formed a green lotus in the air, quickly falling down. The terrifying green lotus sword chi slashed at the golden mountain peak and actually cracked it. However, the next moment, a silver river swept across the void, and a gentle force cleverly dispelled the sword chi. The silver river flashed, and a hazy mist in the void, like a dream enveloping Lin Xian. This Milky Way was very strange. It stood in the void, giving people the feeling that it was so close yet so far away. The oval-faced girl gritted her teeth as shock appeared in her eyes. Their green lotus sword formation was extremely powerful. Even a second-level honorable realm cultivator would not be a match for the 6 of them. And they did not even have the right to make him turn around. Green lotus sky. The oval-faced girl shouted, then quickly turned. The 6 of them were like ghosts flying through the air at high speed. 6 streaks of sword chi condensed into the shape of a green lotus in the air, instantly tearing the void apart. 36 streaks of sword chi filled the sky, emitting a terrifying aura that stirred up the wind and clouds in all directions. Slash. With a shout, the 6 girls carried the green lotus sword chi and formed the green lotus in the sky. The green lotus spun quickly and cooperated with each other to form a huge green lotus, quickly suppressing down. The entire tea house shook again and creaking sounds could be heard. Countless transparent inscriptions surged in the surroundings, forming a light barrier. The surrounding martial artists quickly retreated, distancing themselves from the green lotus sword chi. It was too terrifying. Just the aftershock was enough to make their hearts tremble, and they felt as if they were being torn apart. One could imagine how much pressure the young man in the middle was under. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not intend to be in a stalemate any longer. The great dragon sword soul surged and quickly poured into the golden mountain in the sky. The huge golden mountain spun quickly and became more solid. Mysterious inscriptions appeared on it, forming a mysterious force. In the next moment the void exploded. The golden mountain was like a demonic mountain, quickly suppressing down and violently colliding with the green lotus sword chi. When the two collided, a violent air current swept out in all directions. The tables, chairs and windows were instantly turned into powder. More energy collided with the energy barrier, causing it to vibrate violently. It was really terrifying. Crack, crack, crack. The green lotus sword chi in the sky could not hold on any longer and shattered like glass. The 6 girls were terrified. Blood flowed out from the corners of their mouths, and their delicate bodies flew out and fell to the ground. Lin Xian waved his sleeve and put away the golden mountain and the silver river in the sky. He picked up a cup of spiritual tea and took a sip. His back was still facing the crowd. Hong Wuji frowned even more. His opponent could easily break the green lotus sword array, so he was definitely a powerful martial artist. "Who are you?" he asked coldly. "Haha, red-robed kid, you don't have the right to know." Before Lin Xian could speak, the dark red dragon had already roared out. As soon as the words came out, Hong Wuji's face darkened, and a murderous intent appeared in his eyes. In the void, tens of thousands of sword chi appeared, and the terrifying aura was like a violent tsunami, shocking everyone. Sun Moon Seal. Lin Xian formed another seal and a sun appeared. The void vibrated and a red sun was formed. It was extremely dazzling, just like a real sun. The bright sunlight also turned into tens of thousands of golden swords, piercing out fiercely. Dang dang. Bam. Bam. The 2 types of sword chi clashed in the void, causing a huge crack to appear in the void. It was a shocking and terrifying sight. In the end, the 2 types of sword chi disappeared at the same time, and they turned into spiritual chi. He withstood it. The crowd was shocked. They had not expected the young man to withstand Hong Wuji's attack. This was unbelievable. Hong Wuji had injured a martial artist at the peak of first-level honorable realm with a casual attack. This meant that Hong Wuji's strength was above that of a second-level honorable realm, or even stronger. Now, the young man with the back view had also displayed powerful strength, and it seemed that he was not weaker than Hong Wuji. This young man is also a supreme talent. I wonder which superpower he is from? The crowd was shocked. They were not unfamiliar with this situation. After all, the Vientiane auction had attracted many supreme talents, and countless powerful martial artists would enter Windy City. However, they had not expected 2 supreme talents to fight so quickly. "Who are you?" Hong Wuji's voice was cold and his expression was solemn. The fact that the young man could withstand his attack meant that he was not an ordinary person, and his strength was at least on par with Hong Wuji's. This person was definitely not a nameless person. "As long as you have the ability to turn me around, you will naturally know who I am," Lin Xian said flatly. "You are courting death." Hong Wuji's eyes darkened, and he was ready to attack again. However, at this moment, a crisp laughter rang out like wind chimes, and it rang in the void. It's so lively here." A gentle voice rang out, causing the hearts of those who heard it to tremble. Many people raised their heads to look. Chapter 801. She was an extremely flirtatious lady. She wore a fiery red dress and her chest revealed her snow-white flesh. Her slender legs were faintly discernible under the veil. Her peach blossom eyes were captivating as if they could mesmerize anyone. There was also a faint layer of crimson radiance on her delicate body that enveloped her. She was like a demoness. Huang Xiaoxiao. Everyone's heart trembled. She was a disciple of the Huang family and a top genius among the younger generation of the Huang family. She was extremely famous in Wind-Seeking City. Many people swallowed their saliva and forcefully shifted their gazes away. They had no choice. Although Huang Xiaoxiao was flirtatious, she was vicious and merciless. She was definitely a ruthless character. Moreover, this lady's cultivation was at least a second-level honorable. She was extremely powerful and was the reason why no one dared to provoke her. Huang Xiaoxiao's gaze turned and quickly swept past the crowd. Then, she looked at the figure with his back facing the crowd and a glimmer of brilliance appeared in her beautiful eyes. Huang Xiaoxiao's beautiful eyes looked at the figure with his back facing the crowd and revealed a trace of surprise. She realized that she could not see the cultivation of the other party clearly. If she looked carefully, there was a mysterious force that blocked her view. She had never encountered such a situation before, so she took a few more glances. However, in the end she placed her gaze on Hong Wuji. It was clear that he was more interested in the young master of Red Leaf Valley than the others. I've long heard of the great name of the Red Leaf Valley. After meeting you today, the disciples of the Red Leaf Valley are indeed extraordinary. Huang Xiaoxiao said with a smile. Who are you? Hong Wuji asked in a deep voice. He could naturally feel the powerful aura from the other party. I'm Huang Xiaoxiao. Huang Xiaoxiao smiled charmingly and her voice was pleasant to the ears. Many people's blood boiled and their bodies heated up. You're also here for the white-robed scholar? Hong Wuji asked coldly. I'm not interested in the white-robed scholar. I'm more interested in the golden-feathered divine eagle in his hands. In that case you're going to fight with me? Hong Wuji's eyes darkened. You're thinking too much. Huang Xiaoxiao smiled. How would I dare to fight with you? However, the young master of the Red Leaf Valley will definitely not be interested in the golden-feathered divine eagle. How about giving it to me? The two of them chatted as if the white-clothed scholar and the golden-feathered divine eagle were already fish on their chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. The dark red divine dragon was sick of hearing this. He sent a voice transmission and said, Fuck, this is infuriating. Kid, are you still not going to make a move? These fellows are too despicable. They don't put you in their eyes at all. This emperor has a toothache just looking at it. Lin Xin's face was also gloomy. He also transmitted his voice, Don't be hasty. Now is not the time to act. If we're going to play this time, let's play big. Wouldn't it be better to shock everyone? Fuck, this kid has guts. I like it. The dark red dragon narrowed its eyes, ready to watch a good show. Dong, dong, dong. Another powerful voice rang out. Needless to say, another expert had arrived. Sure enough, it didn't take long before another figure appeared at the staircase. He was dressed in yellow and had a handsome face. His temperament was extraordinary. When he opened and closed his eyes, there was a sharp glint in them. So it's Brother Lung Feng. I didn't expect you to be here too. Huang Xiaoxiao chuckled softly. This young man was also a young expert from Wind-Seeking City. His cultivation had reached the second heaven of the honorable realm. He was also a top expert among the younger generation of the Lung family. He was much stronger than Lung Yu. It seems that everyone is here for the golden-feathered mystical eagle. Lung Feng directly said what everyone was concerned about. That white-robed scholar insulted our Lung family's war beast castle and even took away our mystical beast by force. So this time I must kill him and bring the mystical beast back. Lung Feng's voice was cold and there was a strong murderous intent in his words. It seemed that he wouldn't stop until he achieved his goal. The dark red divine dragon was overjoyed. Another expert had arrived. It seemed that there would be a good show to watch this time. Hong Wuji looked at Lung Feng with a solemn look in his eyes. However, he still said in a deep voice, No matter how many people come, the white-robed scholar is mine. I want to suppress him with my own hands. His voice was filled with infinite confidence. Fuck, this kid is too arrogant. Even I want to beat him up. The dark red divine dragon was furious. Lin Xian also frowned. This guy was really arrogant. He didn't take him seriously at all. It seemed that he had to find a chance to teach him a lesson. At this moment Huang Xiaoxiao sighed. However, it seems that the white-robed scholar doesn't dare to come out. Otherwise with our power we would have found him long ago. Humph. Useless trash. So many people admire him. What a joke. Lung Feng sneered in disdain. If he dares to come out, I'll kill him with a slash. Most legends can't be trusted. What genius scholar. In my eyes he's just an ant. Hong Wuji sneered. He got the golden-feathered mystical eagle by pure luck. If any of us were here, he wouldn't have succeeded that day. The three of them talked among themselves and didn't take the white-robed scholar seriously at all. However, the discussion of the three of them caused many people to be unhappy. They were all cultivators who saw the white-robed scholar with their own eyes. That scene was unforgettable. Since then, many people treated the white-robed scholar as their idol. But now, there was actually someone who dared to ridicule their idol. These people were so angry that they were trembling. Although you guys are strong, that white-robed scholar isn't weak either. His strength is comparable to yours. It's impossible for any of you to win against him alone. That's right. I saw with my own eyes that he easily destroyed the blue array of the Lung clan's Warbeast castle with a single move. This kind of method definitely surpasses those elders. Many people spoke of what they saw. For a moment, everyone was discussing and felt that this white-robed young man could indeed be called a genius. That day, even the disciples of the Immortal Martial Academy weren't his match. How can someone like him be weak? A cute girl with big eyes said. Who dares to insult the reputation of my Immortal Martial Academy? At this moment, a cold voice rang out. It was like a sharp blade shaking the void. Following that, a light flashed and a black figure appeared in the tea house. This was a tall man with a cold expression. He was like a fiend god standing in the middle of the square. He didn't make any movements, but the aura he emitted was like a primordial beast, intimidating everyone. Expert and absolute expert. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that another young expert would appear at this moment. The eyes of this fiend god-like black-robed young man were like lightning as he swept his gaze around. Finally, he stared at the cute girl with big eyes. Are you the one who insulted the reputation of my Immortal Martial Academy? His voice was cold and sharp, even the air was sliced apart mercilessly. Chapter 802. The big-eyed girl's body trembled slightly, her fair face was filled with fear. However, she still stubbornly said, I saw it with my own eyes. That white-robed scholar defeated a disciple of your Immortal Martial Academy. A bunch of nonsense. The black-robed young man coldly snorted. Instantly, the surrounding tables, chairs, and windows turned into dust, causing the defensive light screen to tremble. Boom. The terrifying sound wave was like a sharp spear, rapidly piercing towards the adorable girl. This attack was extremely terrifying, capable of tearing apart mountains and rivers. If she was hit by it, the adorable girl with big eyes would instantly die. Everyone was shocked. The terrifying shockwaves from the attack sent them flying. No one dared to step forward. In an instant, the formless sound wave spear arrived before the adorable girl and was about to pierce her. The adorable girl with big eyes was so frightened that her face turned pale. She sat on the ground, paralyzed, and tears appeared in her eyes. She looked extremely pitiful. In the end, she screamed and closed her eyes. Bang! A low sound rang out, like thunder exploding in the air. A raging wind blew, blowing on everyone's body, causing them to feel pain. Everyone was shocked. They hurriedly turned their heads and exclaimed in shock. That formless sound wave spear didn't pierce the adorable girl. Instead, it was blocked by a cold moon. The two of them were in a stalemate. The adorable girl, Vivian, opened her eyes and was stunned when she saw the scene before her. She originally thought that she would die without a doubt. She didn't expect that someone would save her at the last moment. Everyone was stunned, incomparably shocked. They didn't expect that someone would save her at the last moment. Huang Xiaoxiao and the others were also stunned. She originally wanted to watch a good show, but she didn't expect that someone would forcefully interrupt her. Hong Wuji also frowned. He stared at the figure with his back facing the crowd, his eyes flickering with uncertainty. The black-robed young man was the most infuriated. He came here this time to clear the name of the academy. As a disciple of the Immortal Martial Academy, he wouldn't allow anyone to sully the academy's reputation. Hence, he didn't hold back in that attack earlier. He wanted to use fresh blood to intimidate everyone. However, he didn't expect that someone would actually dare to obstruct him. In his opinion, this was unforgivable. Who dares to obstruct me? Scram out. The black-robed young man's voice was ice-cold, his words like thunder. You can't even tell who did it. What's there to be arrogant about? The dark red divine dragon sneered. He couldn't stand such behavior of bullying the weak. Hiding your head but showing your tail? I can tell at a glance that you're a cowardly rat. The black-clothed youth remained unmoved, and his cold gaze once again stared at the cute girl. Daring to sully the reputation of the Immortal Martial Academy, you can only atone for your crimes with your death. The cute girl's body trembled and curled into a ball like a kitten. Her large eyes were filled with terror and her entire body was trembling non-stop. Lin Xian coldly snorted. His expression was abnormally cold, and a hint of killing intent surfaced in his eyes. If the other party was targeting him, then he had nothing to say. However, the other party had bullied a weak girl right from the start and even wanted to kill her? He didn't dare to do that. Could it be that just because the girl spoke the truth she had to suffer the punishment of death? Lin Xian could not bear it. He would not allow such a thing to happen. Moreover, this young girl had said it to protect him. Lin Xian couldn't just sit back and watch. If someone died because of him, he wouldn't be able to rest in peace for the rest of his life. Hence, Lin Xian decided to act and save the cute girl. With a wave of his sleeves, a formless energy gushed out, transforming into a formless ribbon that enveloped the cute girl and pulled her back. Courting death. The black-clothed youth was enraged. There was actually someone who dared to touch the person he wanted to kill. He coldly laughed and pointed out a finger. Light revolved around the tip of his finger, resembling divine light as it rapidly flew out. Shoo. This finger was aimed at the cute girl's heart. If she was pierced by it, she would most likely die immediately. Lin Xian's expression was gloomy. The other party actually wanted to kill a weak girl one after another. Did they have no humanity at all? He formed seals with his palms and quickly blasted them out. Spiritual energy gushed out, and a resplendent silver river, akin to 3,000 waterfalls, hung upside down in the air. A resplendent ray of light intercepted the finger beam. Other than that, it rapidly enveloped the cute girl, protecting her safety. A shocking sound rang out once again. The resplendent finger beam collided with the silver river, creating a frenzy of energy. On the other side, the cute girl safely arrived at Lin Xian's side. You blocked it? The black-clothed youth's expression was gloomy as he blasted out another finger beam. The light was as resplendent as the stars. The power of this finger beam was several times stronger than before. The finger beam flickered like a dragon, roaring ferociously out of the sea as it rapidly rampaged through the air. Lin Xian still blasted out the seal of sun and moon. A silver moon hung in the air and rotated gently. The moonlight flowed like water waves, quickly strangling the dragon. The terrifying energy of the finger beam was vast. It transformed into a dragon that roared, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, tearing the void apart. The silver moon vibrated and moonlight sprinkled down like a piece of silver light, sparkling and translucent. The collision of the two produced a sonorous sound that shook one's soul. However, no matter how the dragon roared ferociously, it could not break free from the shackles of the moonlight. Not only that, the more it struggled, the tighter the belt of light formed by the moonlight became. In the end, it completely wrapped around the dragon. The cold moonlight was like a transparent ribbon, destroying the dragon. What? It's destroyed. The black-clothed youth's pupils constricted. He knew the power of this attack. It was terrifying, but it was easily destroyed by the other party. For a moment he found it hard to accept. Huang Xiaoxiao, Lung Feng, and the others frowned as they stared at the back of the figure. This person's strength was far beyond their expectations. The black-clothed youth took a deep breath and his eyes turned gloomy. Brat, how dare you meddle in my business? You're dead meat. His eyes were filled with killing intent. In the next moment, a powerful aura burst out from his body. He swung his fist rapidly and punched at Lin Xian. Crack, crack, crack. The space trembled as if it was about to split open. A powerful force surged out like an Archean ferocious beast, pouncing ferociously. In the air, the bright moon rotated again. The moonlight was like a sword beam, sweeping in all directions and quickly slashing at the fist. Dong dong dong. The two collided. The terrifying force of the fist was so great that it scattered the moonlight. However, more moonlight surged over like water ripples, densely packed and blotting out the sky. All of them quickly slashed at the fist. Thousands of rays of moonlight gathered to form a moonlight divine sword that swept in all directions. In the end, the terrifying fist could not withstand it and was sent flying. The black-clothed youth also took 3 steps back with a look of shock on his face. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This was too terrifying. Huang Xiaoxiao, Lung Feng, and the others frowned even more. The black-clothed martial artist's strength was on par with theirs. However, he could not defeat a young man with his back facing them. This made the two of them uneasy. If that was the case, the two of them were no match for him. Who are you? Why are you meddling in my business? The youth's face was ugly. Chapter 803. Immortal Martial Academy? Lin Xian sneered. Do you think you can represent the academy? Don't flatter yourself. If the Immortal Martial Academy was filled with scum like you, it would have closed down a long time ago. Using the academy's name to bully the weak. How shameless. You. Hearing this, the black-robed young man was speechless and trembled with anger. Beside him, the cute girl with big eyes looked at Lin Xian in shock. Her long eyelashes trembled and her eyes were filled with excitement. She wanted to exclaim. Sh. Lin Xian shook his head lightly, indicating for her not to speak. The girl with big eyes nodded her head fervently, then sat down beside Lin Xian, her face full of excitement. Young master is really skilled. I'm impressed. Huang Xiaoxiao smiled. May I know how to address you and where are you from? Then she smiled and said, why don't you give me some face and stop fighting? The black-robed young man snorted coldly, his eyes cold but he didn't speak. Lin Xian sneered in disdain. Do I know you? Why should I give you face? Hearing this, Huang Xiaoxiao's charming face froze. She couldn't believe what she just heard. The surrounding cultivators exclaimed in shock, their minds blank. After being in Wenfeng City for so long, no one dared to not give Huang Xiaoxiao face. Moreover, an unknown young man actually dared to scold her to her face. Thinking of this, her flirtatious face turned gloomy. This little brother's temper is really bad. I don't know what capabilities he has to speak like this. Huang Xiaoxiao's voice was cold. You should know that some words spoken will make you regret it for the rest of your life. Beside her, Lung Feng also stood out. Brat, you're really arrogant. Seems like you're not going to give us face? Who do you think you are? You don't deserve face. Lin Xian shouted coldly. Previously, these people mocked him mercilessly and treated him like a fish on a chopping board. How could he be nice to them now? Moreover, Lin Xian didn't have a good impression of the Huang and Lung clans. Not attacking them immediately was already giving them a lot of face. Now, these people still wanted to worm their way into his relationship. Was this even possible? The surrounding people were so shocked that their minds went blank. This young man was too valiant. He actually scolded the young top experts of the Lung and Huang families at the same time. Did he not want to live anymore? You're courting death. Lung Feng's face darkened as killing intent filled his eyes. Huang Xiaoxiao's face was also taut as she said softly, let me see what makes you so arrogant. Lin Xian and Lin Xian were like two streaks of starlight, moving at incredible speed. In an instant they arrived in front of Lin Xian. Huang Xiaoxiao used a pair of short swords that were like the fangs of a viper. They were dark green and ghastly, and they carried dense poison. Even an Exalt realm martial artist would be poisoned if they encountered them. Surrounded by green light and thin mist, it quickly pierced towards Lin Xian. It was extremely dangerous. On the other side, Lung Feng also attacked, his killing intent shocking. He used a scimitar that was shaped like a crescent moon. It drew an astonishing arc as it slashed towards Lin Xian's neck. Boundless killing intent erupted like a river of stars pouring down. It was extremely cold. Along with the cold blade, all of it surged towards Lin Xian. The attacks of the two experts were extremely fierce. Even a second-rank Exalt would be severely injured in an instant. Therefore they were confident that they could take down Lin Xian immediately. Lin Xian formed seals with both hands. He used the Mountain River seal in his left hand and the Sun Moon seal in his right hand. He struck out with both hands at the same time. Boom! The void trembled as a silver river hung in the sky like a divine river, blocking the dark green poison outside. At the same time, the golden mountain spun and blazed with divine light. It rushed into the clouds and smashed towards Huang Xiaoxiao with terrifying force. On the other side, the cold moonlight formed invisible ribbons that quickly wrapped around the opponent. The dazzling sun evolved into countless flaming divine swords that pierced through the void. Every sword light carried with it a fiery glow, burning everything in its path. Boom! There was a shocking explosion as Lin Xian fought against two opponents by himself. Whoosh! Boom! Along with the terrifying sound, the crowd saw two figures retreat from the energy tide. It was Huang Xiaoxiao and Lung Feng. What? He repelled them. Everyone was shocked. That mysterious young man had actually repelled two young experts by himself? This was too shocking. Huang Xiaoxiao and Lung Feng were even more shocked. They could easily kill a second-rank Exalt if they joined forces, but they were repelled at this moment. Could he be a third-rank Exalt? The two of them were shocked when they thought of this. However, the two of them quickly shook their heads. If he was a third-rank Exalt, they would not only be repelled but they would also be severely injured. Even so, the two of them were still very wary of him. The two of them looked at each other and wanted to attack again. However, at this moment, a cold light suddenly appeared and stabbed towards Lin Xian. This unforeseen event was extremely shocking, causing everyone to cry out in alarm. In fact, from the moment Lin Xian attacked to the moment Huang Xiaoxiao and Lung Feng were repelled, only an instant had passed. The cold light in the void also appeared in an instant. This cold light was shocking, and as fast as lightning, it arrived in front of them in an instant. Ordinary cultivators couldn't see it clearly. Only Hong Wuji and a few other experts could see it clearly. It was a thin sword that was only 2 fingers wide and 1 meter long. It was like a cold light that pierced towards Lin Xian's back. Umph. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A sneak attack. He wasn't afraid. However, he despised the other party's actions. He felt that such a person wasn't worthy of being a disciple of the Immortal Martial Academy. That's right, the person who suddenly attacked was the black-robed young man who claimed to be from the Immortal Martial Academy. He couldn't defeat Lin Xian and could only think of such a sinister attack. However, he still underestimated Lin Xian. Boom. In the next moment, a bloody light spread out behind Lin Xian as a terrifying and violent aura erupted. The void was dyed red as a sea of blood appeared, carrying an aura that could kill everything as it blasted out in all directions. Boom. The sea of blood surged, forming a wave that slammed onto the black-robed young man, sending him flying. This wasn't the end. Within the sea of blood, a blood sword condensed and stood in the void before slashing down. The black-robed young man was sent flying, feeling as if all the bones in his body had cracked. However, before he could recover, a bloody sword light rushed towards him. That sword light was too terrifying, and the killing aura on it was shocking. Before the sword chi arrived, the aura was already enough to make people tremble. Not good. His expression changed drastically as fear appeared in his eyes. In his current state, he wouldn't be able to withstand this sword. Gritting his teeth, the black-robed young man used a life-saving martial technique. A black light appeared under his feet and suddenly erupted, causing his speed to increase explosively. Only then did he manage to dodge the sword. Off. The black-robed young man moved to the side, panting heavily. Although it was only a few moves, it was as if he had experienced the cycle of life and death. Let's attack together. I don't believe that the 3 of us can't take him down. Chapter 804. Let's attack together. The 3 of us will kill him. Huang Xiaoxiao shouted and moved quickly. Lung Feng followed behind and gripped the crescent blade in his hand tightly. The young man in black gritted his teeth and attacked as well. He had to kill his opponent to prove himself. Otherwise, today's battle would become his inner demon and obstruct his future path in the martial Tao. The 3 of them attacked Lin Xian from 3 different directions. Everyone held their breaths and watched with wide eyes. This was a scene that they would never see again. Hong Wuji's expression was similarly solemn. These 3 people were all second-level venerables, and each of them was extremely powerful and could suppress an entire region. Now that the 3 of them had joined forces, their aura was absolutely terrifying. Even he was not confident of winning. Hence, in his opinion, Lin Xian would not be able to handle it. Lin Xian frowned. The 3 second-level honorables had indeed given him a lot of pressure. However, since he had chosen to attack, he did not plan to lose. Not only that, but he also wanted to teach this person a lesson. In the next instant, he reached out his hand and grabbed the blood sword in the sky. He then swept it out. Boom. The blood sword chi surged and drew an arc in the sky. It carried a violent, murderous aura and tore the void apart. The power of this sword was terrifying. Its murderous aura was shocking and surging like a vast ocean. Lin Xian's combat power was shocking. When he swung his sword, the entire space turned blood red. Boom. The blood sword chi finally collided with the 3 of them, and the energy exploded instantly. The tea house was protected by a powerful array and was not damaged. However, everything in the tea house was turned into ashes. Some of the weaker martial artists were swept by the energy shockwaves and immediately vomited blood. He blocked it again? Hong Wuji's sword chi surrounded him and shattered the energy around him. Hence he continued to sit there. However, his expression was not very good. That was because he realized that Lin Xian had blocked the 3 of them. Huang Xiaoxiao and the other 2 looked even worse. They were all shocked and could not believe it. The other party was actually able to contend against them all by himself? Perhaps even those powerful older generation ancient martial art practitioners would not be able to do so. Were they shocked? Lin Xian sneered. You think you are strong, but you are just frogs at the bottom of a well. Then he swung his sword again and turned around at the same time. Sky-splitting blood sword. This sword came from the inheritance of the blood-colored killing sword in the King Stone statue. Bang! The 3 of them were sent flying by the sword, and the entire space was annihilated. Shock, absolute shock. Everyone was shocked by the mysterious youth's battle prowess, but they were also very curious about what he looked like. Therefore many people looked over with rapt attention. Even Huang Xiaoxiao and the other two who had retreated far away looked up. Then someone exclaimed, "What? It's him, the genius scholar. It's him, it's him. I told you that scholar is definitely a genius. Ah, I was right." Many people in the crowd cheered excitedly. As for Huang Xiaoxiao and the other two, their expressions became extremely ugly. From the discussions of the crowd, they had already understood that this mysterious expert was the scholar they were looking for. However, the ironic thing was that not long ago, they had been chatting merrily and wittily before the crowd. They had not placed the white-clothed scholar in their eyes at all. But now, even with the three of them joining hands, they were still unable to defeat him. A slap in the face, a naked slap in the face. Hong Wuji was also watching with rapt attention. He did not expect that the mysterious youth was the person he was looking for. Staring at the other party, Hong Wuji's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. However, he did not act rashly. The other party's battle just now was too shocking. His strength was definitely not inferior to his. Lin Xian looked at the shocked expressions of Huang Xiaoxiao and the other two and immediately sneered. He said coldly, "The three of you were very arrogant before. Didn't you say that you wanted to kill me? Why aren't you coming now?" He sneered, then waved his sleeve and summoned the golden-feathered divine eagle. "Come, the thing you want is here." Lin Xian held the blood sword in his hand and looked around disdainfully. His gaze was like a sword as he stared at the three people in front of him. Huang Xiaoxiao and the other two's expressions were ugly. They glared at him angrily and trembled with anger. Shameful, too shameful. The three of them were usually high and mighty existences. Who dared to provoke them? But now, they were actually suppressed by the same person to the point that they could not raise their heads. "Kid, don't go too far." Lung Feng looked at the golden-feathered divine eagle in the distance, his eyes burning with anger. That was their family's mutated beast. Now that it was being used, it was a public humiliation. "Going too far?" Lin Xian laughed. "I'm bullying you. Are you unhappy? If you're unhappy, you can fight. I'll fight you anytime." Lin Xian stepped forward and said loudly. The surrounding people were shocked. This young man was too domineering. He did not give the Lung family any face at all. However, most of them agreed and were excited. They imagined that Lin Xian was them. "Damn it, the Lung family won't let you off." Lung Feng roared angrily. "How is it? It's uncomfortable, right?" Lin Xian sneered. "When you were so arrogant and wanted to kill me, did you think about my feelings? Now you can't take it anymore. Where's your arrogance from before? I thought you were some kind of expert or genius. Now it seems that you're just trash." "Three trash." Lin Xian's voice was cold. His words were sharp and merciless. "Indeed, three trash." Hong Wuji snorted disdainfully. "You." Lung Feng and the other two trembled in anger. They almost vomited blood. Their faces were ferocious. They wanted to fight with their lives, but they did not have the courage to do so. Not only are they trash, but they're also three cowards. Lin Xian sneered. "Kid, ignore them. Why don't we fight?" Hong Wuji's eyes shone brightly. "No hurry. Let's get rid of the three of them first." Lin Xian walked over slowly with the blood sword in his hand. "You, what are you trying to do?" Lung Feng and Huang Xiaoxiao panicked. "Kill?" Lin Xian's voice was cold. "You're here to kill me. Do you think I'll let you go?" Hearing this, Lung Feng and the other two's pupils shrank. Their faces were filled with fear. "You dare to kill me? You don't want to live anymore." They were indeed stunned and exclaimed in shock. That's right, they had lost face. However, they had never been worried about their own safety. One had to know that their identities were extraordinary. Two of them were disciples of big clans in Wind-Seeking City, while the other was a disciple of the Immortal Martial Academy. It could be said that their identities were noble and no one dared to offend them. Not to mention no one dared to kill them. And now, a young man actually wanted to kill the three of them at the same time. How audacious. "Kid, if you dare to touch a single strand of my hair, there will be no place for you in Wind-Seeking City." Huang Xiaoxiao's voice was filled with venom. Chapter 805. You're dead. The Lung family will not let you off. Lung Feng roared. "How dare you touch me? You'll be hunted down endlessly." Poof. Before he could finish his sentence, the blood-red sword slashed down. Lung Feng's head flew into the air as blood splattered everywhere. What? Everyone was shocked. They did not expect Lin Xian to kill Lung Feng so decisively. Huang Xiaoxiao and the black-clothed youth were stunned as well. They stood rooted to the ground. Lung Feng's head flew into the air. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He could not believe that Lin Xian dared to kill him. Was he not afraid of the Lung family's revenge? Lung Feng's head fell to the ground with disbelief and indignation. Poof, poof. Lung Feng's headless body fell to the ground and blood flowed like a river. However, something even stranger happened. The blood was all attracted by the blood sword in Lin Xian's hand and absorbed. Behind Lin Xian, a hazy blood diagram appeared. It was extremely mysterious. At that moment, Lin Xian felt that his understanding of the blood sword legacy had deepened. Soon, the blood on the ground was sucked dry and Lung Feng's body became a dried corpse. Lin Xian turned his eyes and stared at Huang Xiaoxiao and the young man in black. Huang Xiaoxiao felt Lin Xian's gaze and woke up from her daze. She screamed. You killed him. You're dead. The Lung family will not let you off. Her face was covered in blood. Coupled with her panicked expression, she looked terrifying. I killed you because you deserved to die. Lin Xian's voice was cold as he raised the blood-red sword in his hand again. No, don't kill me. Huang Xiaoxiao was finally afraid when she felt the violent killing intent. She did not want to die. Let me go. I'll agree to anything you want. Huang Xiaoxiao's eyes were filled with pleading and seduction. As long as you're willing, my body will be yours. Her voice was alluring and seductive. I'm not interested in you. Lin Xian sneered and shook his head. The blood-red sword quickly pierced through her body. Poof! The sword pierced through her heart. You! The Huang family will avenge me. Huang Xiaoxiao used the last of her strength and screamed. At the same time, she burned the last of her blood and used a secret technique to attack Lin Xian. Ah, you're dead. Even if you kill me, the Huang family won't let you off. Huang Xiaoxiao revealed a final trace of malevolence before falling to the ground. Lin Xian frowned slightly. He could feel that there was something extra in his body, but he couldn't detect it. Temporarily putting aside the doubts in his heart, he once again looked at the last black-clothed martial artist. Don't kill me. The black-clothed youth was terrified, and he no longer had the arrogance from before. I'm warning you, I'm a disciple of the Immortal Martial Academy, and I'm even a member of the Tao Spirit Association. The Tao Spirit Association was established by the disciples of the Yen family. You can't afford to offend them. Tao Spirit Association? Lin Xian laughed, his mouth full of disdain. He slowly lowered his head and looked down at the black-clothed youth. I even dared to kill Yan Qingyang, let alone you. What you are. The black-clothed youth was shocked, and his face was full of fear. A figure appeared in his mind. He finally knew who the scholar in front of him was. However, he didn't have the chance to say it because the blood sword had already pierced through his chest. Plop. When the last corpse turned into a dried corpse and fell down, the crowd finally recovered from the shock. Too shocking, too exciting. One person killed 3 top young experts and they were all of noble status. It wouldn't be long before Wind-Seeking City would riot. At the very least, the Huang family and Lung family wouldn't allow such a thing to happen. Hong Wuji was also slightly stunned. The young man in front of him had once again exceeded his expectations. Even if he was the young master of the Red Leaf Valley, he wouldn't dare to kill the 3 of them at the same time. One could imagine the shock in his heart. Interesting, very interesting. Hong Wuji exclaimed, our Red Leaf Valley has always been arrogant, but I didn't expect to see someone even more arrogant today. Kid, you've got guts. The 6 girls looked surprised. They had never heard of anyone being praised by Hong Wuji before. Hong Wuji's eyes shone brightly, and his body released a powerful aura. However, I still have to suppress you. I've said it before, you're no match for me. He slowly stood up, and his entire body was extremely sharp, like a divine sword being unsheathed. Lin Xian held the blood sword in his hand and stared at Hong Wuji. Behind him, a monstrous sea of blood surged, and the murderous aura shot up to the sky. Boom. Their auras collided and a shocking explosion erupted, almost tearing the entire tea house's defense apart. The crowd retreated, watching anxiously. Just as the 2 of them were about to attack, a long roar came from afar. Who dares to kill my Huang family's disciples? The voice was filled with anger like an enraged tiger, and it was extremely terrifying. Along with them, several powerful auras were rushing towards them at high speed. Oh no, the Huang family is here. The crowd was shocked. Lin Xian frowned. He didn't expect the other party to be alerted so quickly. He looked at Hong Wuji and said coldly, we'll fight another day. Then Lin Xian turned into a ray of sword light and flew into the distance. Thief, where do you think you're going? Just as Lin Xian left the tea house, a terrifying palm of light fell quickly. The palm was glowing with green light, like a ghost claw, and it covered a radius of 1,000 meters. The sky suddenly darkened and a terrifying aura surged. The green ghost claw covered the sky, forming rays of green light that intertwined to form a light cage trapping Lin Xian. The light cage was hard as if it was made of divine metal. It was extremely sturdy like a prison from hell, and it was difficult to escape. Little bastard, how dare you kill my Huang family's disciples? How dare you? The person who came was an old man in green. He was an elder of the Huang family. He shouted sternly, "Today I'll extract your soul and you'll never be reincarnated." The old man's expression was ferocious, and his body was filled with murderous intent. The moment they knew that Huang Xiaoxiao was dead, the entire Huang family almost went crazy. Huang Xiaoxiao was a genius disciple of the Huang family, one of the most promising few. But now he was actually killed by someone. They could not accept it and they did not even dare to believe it. One had to know that the Huang family was considered a powerful force in wind-seeking city. Even some elites were not willing to provoke them. Moreover, no one dared to kill a disciple of the Huang family unless they were mortal enemies. Therefore they did not believe that Huang Xiaoxiao was dead. However, the nameplate that represented Huang Xiaoxiao's identity had been shattered. They also sensed the blood-red mark that Huang Xiaoxiao made before she died. That was a secret technique of the Huang family. At the cost of one's life, they would make a tracking mark that could clearly guide the enemy. However, this secret technique would not be used until they were on the brink of death. Since the blood-red mark had appeared, it meant that Huang Xiaoxiao was really dead. Thinking of this, the old man in green robe's expression became ferocious. "Kid, dying 10,000 times is not enough to atone for your sins. I'll cut off your flesh piece by piece and I'll let you live like a dog." Chapter 806. The green-robed elder was furious. He wanted nothing more than to tear the other party apart. The green ghost claw covered the sky and released countless auras, forming a hellish cage. Everyone was shocked. The scene was too terrifying. As expected of an elder. However, most of them were worried for Lin Xian. After all, they had seen what happened with their own eyes. It was not that Lin Xian liked to kill, but that Huang Xiaoxiao and the others had gone too far. Anyone would have attacked if they were in Lin Xian's shoes. Lin Xian roared and waved the blood sword in his hand, releasing a monstrous sword radiance. A violent and shocking murderous aura surged. A sea of blood appeared and slapped in all directions, tearing the green cage apart in an instant. Whoosh! Lin Xian turned into a sword radiance and flew out of the cage. He stood in the air and stared at the green-robed elder. "Thief, I want you dead." The green-robed elder was filled with murderous intent. Behind him, dozens of lights lit up and rushed over. These people were all experts of the Huang family. They had all come to capture the murderer. Everyone in Wind-Seeking City knows who's right and who's wrong. If it weren't for your disciples being too arrogant and vicious, they wouldn't have died. The reason why they were so arrogant and vicious was because they had your support. So, the one who killed them wasn't me but you. If you old things continue to be arrogant and protect them, more disciples will die. Lin Xian said with a sonorous voice, holding the killing sword in his hand. What a bunch of nonsense. The green-robed elder was trembling with anger. At this time the experts of the other families had also arrived. They were all glaring at Lin Xian as if they had lost their minds. "How dare you kill Sister Xiao? I'll kill you." A young man with a ferocious face walked out. The killing intent in his eyes surged, turning into tangible radiance, terrifying and terrifying. "You can't." Lin Xian sneered. "Let those old things do it. You're courting death." The young man was furious. His name was Huang Luo, and he was one of the 3 strongest people in the younger generation of the Huang family. His strength was even above Huang Xiaoxiao's. When he heard Lin Xian's mockery, he shouted angrily and rushed over. "No!" The green-robed old man shouted from behind, his face full of anxiety. They had already lost Huang Xiaoxiao. They couldn't afford to lose Huang Luo. Otherwise, there wouldn't be many people left in the younger generation of the Huang family. However, his reminder was too late. With Huang Luo's speed, he arrived in front of Lin Xian in an instant. With a flash of light, a high-grade spirit-ranked treasured saber appeared in his hand. The saber radiance was resplendent like the Milky Way, pouring down in torrents with a terrifying aura that could destroy everything. Brat die. Huang Luo laughed savagely. However, Lin Xian only smiled disdainfully. His eyes focused, and the sword of slaughter in his hand became even more solid, as if it was a real sword. Killing frenzy. The sword radiance flickered like a blood-red dragon attacking, its roar shaking the heavens. Clang. Buff. The resplendent saber radiance was sent flying, and the terrifying blood-red sword chi slashed at Huang Luo. No. Block it. Huang Luo didn't expect his opponent to be so powerful that he could break his attack in an instant. In a panic, he quickly defended himself. However, he didn't know that Lin Xian had mastered the blood sword inheritance, and his body also had the great dragon sword soul, a heaven-defying offensive saint technique. Therefore, the power of this sword was extremely powerful. His defense shattered in an instant. Huang Luo's pupils constricted. He felt the cold sword chi pierce his body, and then mercilessly slash through his body. Then his senses disappeared. Along with the disappearance of his senses, there was also shock and fear. In the sky, Huang Luo's body was cut in half by the sword radiance. A rain of blood fell, as if it was attracted by an invisible force, and all of it entered Lin Xian's blood sword and the sea of blood behind him. No! Everyone in the Huang family was stunned, and then they screamed crazily. He's dead again. The second strongest youth in their family had died in front of them. Ah, I hate it. Bastard, I'll definitely kill you. The green-robed elder roared at the sky. His voice was like thunder and it shattered the surrounding buildings. A powerful and violent aura gushed out like a volcanic eruption, blasting the clouds in the sky away. More Huang family warriors moved, and they surrounded Lin Xian. Today they must kill this sinner in front of them. Lin Xian looked around and the corner of his mouth curled up in disdain. He really didn't know why they were sad that such a trash would die with a single sword strike. Several Huang family elders were so angry that they vomited blood, and their bodies trembled. Trash, the second strongest youth in their family, was called trash by someone else? Intolerable, absolutely intolerable. Kill. Tear him into pieces. The green-robed elder roared and he took the initiative to attack. With a punch, the mountains and rivers shattered, and the wind whistled in the void as if it was going to tear the sky apart. You want to fight? Then come. Lin Xian roared and his eyes flashed. Behind him, the sea of blood surged. Boom. A great battle broke out. Lin Xian formed a seal with his left hand, and a blood-red mountain appeared. It enlarged in the air and collided with the green-robed fist. The entire mountain was blood-red as if it was a mountain from hell. It was extremely terrifying and the green-robed fist was pushed back in an instant. Then he swung his right hand, and the blood-red sword light turned into a furious dragon that pounced in all directions. In an instant, a few screams were heard. Some of the weaker Huang family disciples were cut in half at the waist by the blood-red sword light, and their blood was sucked away. Back off. The green-robed elder roared. Those below the second sky of the martial honor realm, leave. Go and inform the Lung family that their genius has also been killed. In an instant, the entire sky was cleared, and only Lin Xian and the 6 ferocious-looking elders were left. Brat, you won't be able to escape death today. The green-robed elder's voice was cold. Even a third sky of the martial honor realm would not dare to face 6 second sky of the martial honor realm head-on, not to mention this brat who was not even a third sky of the martial honor realm. Feeling that the blood-red sword and the sea of blood behind him were becoming stronger, Lin Xian's gaze was like a sword radiance that swept across the surroundings fearlessly. He formed a seal with his left palm, and his right hand held the sword as he attacked rapidly. Attack. The 6 elders also attacked fiercely, using their own unique skills. Boom. A blood-red moon spun rapidly, and the moonlight was like a blood-red ribbon that quickly wrapped around the 2 elders. Then a golden sun appeared in the sky, shining with golden light. It was extremely terrifying. Crack. Countless rays of light fell, forming golden sword radiances that pierced towards the 2 elders. The golden radiances contained powerful lightning energy that made one's scalp go numb. The 2 elders were shocked, and they used all their strength to escape at the last moment. However, they were still swept by a few lightning sword radiances, and the sky exploded with lightning, sending the 2 elders flying. What? So powerful? The people below were shocked. Facing the attacks of the 6 elders, Lin Xian was not afraid at all, and he even managed to injure 2 of them in an instant. His strength and experience were too terrifying. You're courting death. The green-robed elder was enraged and a green skeleton appeared behind him. It was extremely strange. Chapter 807. A green skeleton appeared behind the green-clothed elder, emitting a terrifying aura. Boom. The entire sky suddenly boiled like a vast ocean, surging and surging violently. "Martial soul, it's a martial soul!" the crowd exclaimed. They did not expect the green-clothed elder to use his martial soul. It seemed like he was going to fight for real. The green skeleton was very eye-catching. The green skeleton was very tall and there were mysterious patterns on it, emitting a terrifying aura. He stood in the void like a demon, terrifying everyone's hearts and souls. "I said I'll kill you today." The green-clothed elder's voice was ferocious. His eyes were as sharp as knives as he stared at Lin Xian. In the other direction, the elders also summoned their martial souls. They were mighty and terrifying. Swoosh! The green skeleton moved and turned into a ray of light, rushing toward Lin Xian. Swoosh! In an instant he arrived beside Lin Xian and his skeleton palm slammed down mercilessly. The palm was glowing with a green light, as if it was made of green gold. It slashed toward Lin Xian like a treasure weapon. Lin Xian clenched his fist. Red flames danced on his fist, wrapping around his fist. Like a meteor he quickly punched out. Clang! When the two collided, an earth-shattering explosion rang out. The entire sky trembled as visible energy ripples spread out in all directions. The green-clothed elder summoned his martial soul and fought with Lin Xian. However, what shocked everyone was that Lin Xian did not summon his martial soul. Instead, he used his fist to fight against the elder's martial soul. Just how confident must he be? The green-clothed elder sneered. He controlled the skeleton martial soul and used a powerful martial skill to attack his opponent. Boom! Light shot out in all directions like fireworks. However, there was a fatal killing intent hidden in the light. Vermilion bird seal. Lin Xian waved his palm and shot out a flame. A huge vermilion bird was born from the flames and quickly soared into the sky. When the vermilion bird appeared, the entire sky was dyed red. A scorching aura spread out as if it was going to evaporate people. Not only was the heat unbearable, it could also evaporate spiritual energy. The green skeleton was affected, and its bronze body began to fade as if it was about to melt. Umph! The azure-robed old man snorted coldly and controlled the azure-robed skeleton to spit out an azure-colored cloud. The flames in the sky dimmed as if they were being corroded by the mist. What a terrifying poison! Everyone was terrified and quickly fled. This poison was too terrifying. Even a third heaven venerable would not dare to take it head-on. "Haha kid, let's see what you can do. Turn into a puddle of blood under my poison." The green-robed old man's face was ferocious. He felt a thrill of revenge. However, in the next moment the pleasure suddenly disappeared. What? Impossible. His pupils shrank as he cried out in shock. He couldn't believe what was happening in front of him. This was because Lin Xian had already escaped the poison's range and instantly appeared in front of him. So fast, this speed. How is this possible? The green-robed elder shrieked. Even a third heaven venerable realm cultivator probably wouldn't have such speed. The surrounding martial artists were even more shocked. They couldn't see it clearly at all. Hong Wuji frowned. Could this speed be an earth-grade martial art? He guessed in his heart, but he wasn't sure. However, that movement technique was so fast that it shocked him. It must be a peerless martial art to have such speed. In fact, his guess was right. Lin Xian was using an earth-grade movement technique, the Phantom Illusionary Demonic Steps. He had already practiced this earth-grade movement technique to the lesser success stage. When he used it now, his speed was incomparable and even ghosts couldn't dodge it. Even a third heaven venerable realm cultivator might not have such speed. Boom. In the next moment, Lin Xian swung his sword and slashed at the green-robed elder in front of him. Oh no! The green-robed elder's scalp went numb. Not to mention the sword chi, just the overflowing killing intent was enough to make his heart beat wildly. Was he still human? He had never seen such a powerful killing intent before. It was like a god of death. The green-robed elder waved his hand and hurriedly shot out a light shadow to defend himself. Poof. However, it was useless. Those palm shadows were instantly shattered by Lin Xian's blood-red sword. They couldn't block it at all. What? The green-robed elder was shocked. He didn't expect the opponent's attack to be so fierce that it instantly shattered all the palm shadows he shot out. In the next moment, the blood-red sword chi quickly slashed at him. Retreat. The green-robed elder didn't dare to take it head-on. He quickly retreated while waving his hands to summon his martial soul to defend himself. Although he retreated extremely quickly, he still underestimated Lin Xian's speed. This sword was as fast as lightning. The red sword chi turned into blood-red lightning and quickly slashed his arm. Poof! Blood splattered as half of the green-robed elder's right arm was chopped off. Ah! The green-robed elder's scalp went numb. His eyes were filled with fear as he turned into a ray of green light and fled quickly. The crowd below was shocked and fell silent. Even the Huang family elders' faces changed drastically. The green-robed elder was also a powerful existence among them, but he was injured and fled in just a short moment. The situation changed too quickly. They couldn't accept it at all. Trash. Not only are the younger generation trash, but the older generation is also trash. Lin Xian's voice was like thunder as he mocked them mercilessly. You're courting death. How dare you insult the Huang family? I'll destroy you today. The other Huang family elders couldn't listen to it anymore. Although the opponent was powerful, they weren't weak either. Moreover, they had the advantage in numbers. If they joined forces, they could definitely suppress the opponent. Two Huang family elders walked up. One of them had white hair and an old face. However, his eyes were sharper than a blade. Obviously, he was a second-level honorable realm expert. Moreover, he was a second-level honorable realm expert. The other person was also an old man. However, he was wearing an ice-cold black armor that completely protected his body. The black battle suit emitted a cold light, and on its surface, there were many mysterious patterns flickering. This is a top spiritual treasure. The crowd was shocked. This level of armor was extremely tough. It was difficult to break through its defense. They didn't expect the Huang family elders to have such armor. It seemed like there was no suspense in this battle. The opponent probably couldn't break through the armor's defense. Many people gasped and shook their heads. They felt sorry for Lin Xian. A top spiritual treasure was extremely powerful. It was definitely a great help. At this moment, the Huang family elder was wearing a black armor. It was equivalent to having an extra life. Among those of the same level, no one was his match. Humph, little thief, die. Only the eyes of the Huang family elder were exposed. The rest of his body was completely covered by the black armor. He was like a demon king. He slowly walked over in the air. Every step he took caused a huge explosion in the air. Countless waves swept in all directions. On the other side, the white-haired elder also walked over. He held a purple longsword in his hand. The longsword flickered and revealed a purple light. It was like a sunset that danced in the sky. It made him look like a sword god. Chapter 808. The two elders sneered and attacked Lin Xian from both sides. Without wasting any time, the two of them attacked instantly. The white-haired elder wielded a purple longsword and slashed out quickly. A blazing sword light flashed across the sky, illuminating the entire sky. The light was resplendent, and the multicolored light stretched for thousands of miles. The white-haired elder wielded the purple sword and slashed out quickly. The sword ray flashed and tore through the void, quickly slashing towards Lin Xian. A top-grade spirit-grade sword? Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. He quickly pulled out the wind shadow sword from his waist and stabbed out as well. The green jade-like sword gradually enlarged and turned into a giant sword that was dozens of feet long. It was terrifying and heavy. On top of it, streaks of green chi flowed. Together with the inscriptions on it, it released a mysterious and sharp aura. It was like a divine sword that slashed down quickly. What? Another top-grade spirit-grade sword? Everyone was shocked. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a sword on him. Lin Xian waved the wind shadow sword. Terrifying sword chi swept out in all directions, crushing the void. Streaks of sword chi that were hundreds of feet long slashed forward quickly. The two streaks of sword chi collided. It was like two angry dragons roaring and fighting each other. In an instant, the sky was torn apart. The sword chi turned into a rain of light and scattered in all directions. Every strike could sink the earth. Kill? On the other side, the elder of the Huang family in black armor also attacked. He was like a black god of war walking in the void. Every step he took cracked the void. He punched out and his fist, which was wrapped in black armor, rapidly enlarged. It was like a black demonic mountain rapidly crashing over. Bam! 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 Lin Xian wielded the wind shadow sword and stabbed it into the sky. Every strike caused the sky to tremble violently. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. It made people's hearts tremble. He fought against two Huang family elders by himself. He waved out streaks of sword chi that made people's hearts tremble. Every time they collided, the sky would be torn apart. It was like a clap of thunder that fell in all directions. Everyone was hit by the aftershock of the energy. Their bodies trembled, and many people quickly retreated with blood flowing out of the corners of their mouths. This young man is too terrifying. Many people were shocked. Impossible, this is impossible. As for the Huang family disciples, their faces were filled with disbelief. Two of their elders were wielding top spirit step treasures, and even though they joined forces, they still weren't able to defeat this young man. This was just too shocking. They couldn't accept it. This child is incredible. When he grows up in the future, he will definitely defy the heavens. An older generation figure sighed in admiration. Hong Wuji clasped his hands behind his back and glared at Lin Xian. His eyes were filled with fighting spirit as sword chi surged from his body. He was equally shocked. Lin Xian's strength had once again exceeded his expectations. Interesting. It's rare to meet such an opponent. Hong Wuji revealed a sinister smile. He looked like an evil god. At this moment, the battle situation in the sky changed again. The white-haired elder tossed the purple sword out and hovered in the air. Countless streaks of purple light surged out from the sword, forming streaks of sword chi that shot out in all directions. In an instant, tens of thousands of purple rays of light shot into the sky. Each ray of purple sword chi was like a waterfall that fell from the sky. Tens of thousands of similar sword chi fell, forming a huge cage that trapped Lin Xian. This scene was extremely shocking. The entire sky was filled with purple chi and murderous intent. Lin Xian was directly below the purple sword and was surrounded by countless purple sword chi. Moreover, those terrifying sword chi quickly pierced towards his body. On the other side, the elder in black armor also made his move. His body expanded rapidly and finally became 100 meters tall like a giant. He waved his fist and struck out with a terrifying force. It was like a meteorite from outer space that ruthlessly smashed into the ground. This force was shocking and very strange. It directly passed through the purple sword light and surged towards Lin Xian. The tens of thousands of sword flashes around him glowed brightly, forming a purple cage that trapped Lin Xian. As expected of an elder of the Huang family. How terrifying. When the two of them worked together, they could even contend against a third-level venerable. That kid is dead for sure. No one who dares to provoke our Huang family will have a good ending. The Huang family disciples were all excited. In the next moment, the sky trembled violently and an earth-shattering explosion spread in all directions. Is it over? The Huang family elders in the sky heaved a sigh of relief. That kid was really difficult to deal with. If he grew up, he would definitely be a huge threat to their family. This is your strength? How pitifully weak. Suddenly, a disdainful voice rang out from the energy storm. What? He's fine. Everyone was shocked and could not believe it. Impossible. The pupils of the Huang family elders in the sky constricted, and their faces were full of shock. They stared at the energy storm in the center, and their breathing gradually became heavier. Soon, the violent energy storm dissipated, revealing the figure in the center. They saw Lin Xian standing in the void. His clothes fluttered in the wind, and there was no trace of damage. Impossible, absolutely impossible. The two elders who attacked went crazy. Their eyes were full of disbelief and shock. Their attack just now was enough to injure a third-level venerable, but the young man in front of them was unharmed? This was already beyond their imagination. Ignorant. Lin Xian sneered. When he was attacked just now, he did not hesitate to use the shadow of the Red Lotus armor to block all the attacks. That was why he looked unharmed. However, it was really dangerous just now. If he did not have the Red Lotus armor, he would have been in danger. When he thought of this, Lin Xian's face darkened. You're done attacking. It's my turn now. The voice was cold, and it was like a god of death walking out from the void. Countless blood vessels surged and wrapped around the wind shadow sword, forming a scarlet light. He held the killing sword in his hand and walked forward step by step. With every step he took, the aura on his body became stronger, and the murderous aura became denser. In the end, a boundless sea of blood condensed around him, and a terrifying illusion appeared. Damn it! Stop right there. The white-haired elder and the elder in black armor were terrified. They quickly moved to stop the other party. The purple sword light and the black fist quickly swept through the void and blasted toward Lin Xian. However, in the next moment, red lines appeared in front of the crowd and formed a huge shadow of the armor. It blocked in front of Lin Xian and blocked all the attacks. Lin Xian sneered and walked over step by step. He never stopped walking, and the rhythm of each step did not change. He walked confidently and calmly toward the elder of the Huang family. In the next moment, he raised the long sword in his hand and quickly stabbed at the white-haired elder. "You're courting death." The white-haired elder roared and waved his purple sword. Countless purple sword lights surged out like a purple waterfall and surrounded him in the air, forming a solid defense. However, all of this was useless. Lin Xian's murderous intent and attack power were at their peak, and those purple sword lights could not stop him at all. The blood-colored sword light fell and cut everything in front of it in half, including the body of the white-haired elder. With a clench of his hand, Lin Xian took the elder's storage ring. Then, the blood sword hummed and trembled, forming a suction force that sucked all the essence and blood of the dead white-haired elder. Chapter 809. The elders of the Huang family were all dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what had just happened. Their family's expert had been cut in half by a young man. They couldn't accept it at all. Now many of the elders were regretting. What kind of demon had they provoked to be so powerful? The elder in black armor felt his scalp go numb. At this moment he was being stared at by Lin Xian, and his whole body trembled. Although the armor was a top spiritual rank artifact, it couldn't withstand the shocking killing intent. He was like a small boat in a sea of blood that could be overturned by a huge wave at any time. This feeling was too terrifying and too powerless. He didn't feel this way even when facing the family's experts and the venerable from Sanchong village. "Stop. Don't fight, don't fight." The elder in black armor shouted loudly. He was really scared. His companion's strength was similar to his, and he also had a top spiritual rank artifact, but he was still cut in half by the young man. This scene deeply stimulated him, letting him know that the young man in front of him couldn't be judged by common sense. This matter is our Huang family's disciples' fault. I'll go back and teach them a lesson. The grudge between us is over, the elder in black armor said quickly. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. They didn't expect the powerful Huang family to admit defeat. "Stop fighting?" Lin Xian sneered. "Stop fighting? You brought a group of people to kill me? Stop fighting? 6 of you besieged me? Stop fighting? You used top-rank artifacts to kill me? Now that you can't beat me and say stop fighting, I want to know if I can beat you and say stop, will you hold back?" Lin Xian's mouth curved into a mocking smile, and the killing intent in his eyes grew stronger. "If I can't beat you, I'm afraid I'll be killed by you mercilessly. Now that you're telling me to stop fighting, do you think I'll let you go?" Lin Xian didn't hesitate and quickly slashed down with his sword. "Kid, you're courting death. Don't be so shameless." The elder clad in black armor was also enraged. He had already lowered his stance, yet the other party still wanted to attack. They simply didn't place them in their eyes. What was laughable was that he didn't consider that they were the ones who had come to kill Lin Xian first. Now that they were halfway through the fight and couldn't win, they wanted to stop. How could there be such an easy thing? "Block it!" the black-armored boss shouted, and the black armor on his body bloomed with a black light. Bang! An earth-shattering sound rang out as the black-armored elder was sent flying, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. However, he did not suffer any external injuries. The sword chi was blocked. I have a spirit-grade battle armor. Even if you have a sword of the same grade, it will be difficult for you to break my defense. In other words, you can't kill me at all." Seeing this situation, the black-armored elder became arrogant again. "Little thief, I gave you a chance before but you didn't cherish it. Now let me take your dog life." "Shameless indeed." Lin Xian snorted coldly, "People like you don't need to exist in this world." She held the killing sword in her hand and walked forward step by step. "It's useless. You can't break my defense." The black-armored elder sneered disdainfully. "Can't break your defense? You're thinking too much." Lin Xian quickly swung her sword. The killing sword hummed and enlarged in the air. It was as long as 100 feet, like a mountain ridge. Lin Xian held it in her hand and quickly slashed it down. This sword was extremely ferocious and powerful, as if it could cut through the sky. Boom! The terrifying attack landed on the black-armored elder and sent him flying. The elder was sent flying and coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. Although the black-armored armor was extremely hard and could block swords and sabers, the powerful impact passed through the armor and directly hit his body. The power almost caused his body to split open. "What? Damn it!" The black-armored elder's expression was ferocious. He could not believe it. However, in the next moment, Lin Xian appeared in front of him again. The giant sword in her hand fell quickly. The sword light flashed and connected heaven and earth, forming a strange and terrifying scene. Bang! The black-armored elder was sent flying again. The black armor shone with flowing light and blocked most of the force, but the terrifying killing intent and shocking sword intent could not be eliminated. It directly bombarded the black-armored elder's body, as if it was going to tear him apart. Stop. Let's talk. The black-armored elder was frightened again. He realized that Lin Xian still had the ability to kill him, so he had to lower his head and beg for his life. At this time the elders around were also furious. They all attacked trying to stop Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian did not give them a chance. A pitch-black sword appeared in his hand, emitting a terrifying aura of death. The sword of Nirvana. With a stab, the strange pitch-black sword quickly sucked away the elder's vitality. Thus, a shocking and strange scene appeared in the sky. The black long sword did not pierce the black-clothed old man, but his body gradually withered. His face aged as if he had aged over 100 years in an instant. Soon he turned into a pile of white bones. Lin Xian waved his sleeve, turning the white bones into dust. Then he grabbed the black armor and put it into his storage ring. Die, little thief. Leave the treasure behind. At this time the elders from the imperial family rushed over again, trying to surround Lin Xian. At the same time, a shocking roar came from afar. Several terrifying auras like ancient fierce beasts appeared, covering the whole sky. Lung Clan. The Lung Clan's experts are here. Everyone was shocked. The other big clan of Wenfeng City had finally sent an expert. Haha, little brat, you're dead. The elders from the Huang clan were excited, and their faces were ferocious. Lin Xian's eyes flickered and his brows furrowed. He snorted coldly and put away his sword. I'll spare your lives today, but I'll make sure the Lung clan and Huang clan disappear from Wenfeng City. Then, his body turned into a ray of light and rushed into the sky. Stop him. Don't let him get away. The elder from the Huang clan was shocked. It was not easy for them to wait for the Lung clan's expert, and they would not let him get away. However, they were powerless. The Earth rank movement technique was incomparably mysterious, and it was not something they could compete with. In an instant, countless figures appeared in the sky, and each of them seemed real. These people could not tell which one was the real Lin Xian. When they destroyed all the illusions, they found that Lin Xian was long gone. Swoosh. Swoosh. Dozens of figures descended, and a terrifying aura filled the air. Who dares to kill my Lung clan's disciple? An earth-shattering roar sounded, and it caused people's blood to spurt out. Where's that little thief? Tell him to come out and die. The Lung clan's experts looked around angrily, and their bodies were full of killing intent. However, when they saw the blood on the ground and the Huang clan's casualties, many of their pupils shrank. Chapter 8:10. But we need to discuss how to capture this brat. They had no choice. The other party was powerful and had a strange movement technique. They didn't want to admit it, but he was definitely one of the top existences in the younger generation. If they wanted to kill such a person, they needed to deploy their forces well. Lin Xian left Wind-Seeking City and came to a nearby forest. He had gained quite a lot from this battle. The purple long sword and the black armor, the two top-grade spirit-grade artifacts, had been taken by him. The elders of the Huang family must be mad with anger right now. However, Lin Xian didn't feel guilty. In this world, if he didn't kill others, he would be killed. This was the law of this world. He had to adapt. Putting on the black armor, Lin Xian infused his spirit energy into the armor. Suddenly, the black armor shone brightly. Then the light dimmed and became a tight fit, forming an inner armor. At the level of a top-grade spiritual artifact, it could change its shape at will. Not only could it shrink, but it could also expand. It was extremely magical. The purple longsword was on the same level as his wind shadow sword. It was also a good offensive artifact. In addition to the two artifacts, the two people's storage rings were also very rich. Other than that, what made him even more surprised was that his Blood Sword King's inheritance seemed to have improved and broken through. After absorbing the blood of so many experts, his Blood Sword King's inheritance finally broke through the first level and reached the second level. This way, his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. Now, he could even fight against a third-level Honorable Realm expert. This made him extremely happy. As expected of a king's inheritance, it was extremely powerful. There's someone. Suddenly, Lin Xian frowned and looked into the distance. Then a cold smile appeared on his face. They had actually chased him. His figure flickered and he disappeared on the spot. Not long after, 10 figures descended and crushed everything in the surroundings into powder. These 10 people had powerful auras. They were all second-level honorable realm experts. Damn it, that little thief ran away again. Among them, the Lung family elder said fiercely. No matter, he can't escape from our hands. One of the Huang family elders sneered. He was hit by our secret technique. In our eyes, it's impossible to hide. It's only a matter of time before we find him. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Soon, the 10 venerables quickly flew away and disappeared on the spot. In front of him, Lin Xian frowned. He had changed his position many times, but the other party was still able to clearly see him. This caused his expression to become somewhat gloomy. Kid, there is a special mark on your body. It must have been left behind by that which before she died, the dark red divine dragon said. Mark? Lin Xian furrowed his brows. He suddenly recalled that Huang Xiaoxiao had used her remaining HP to attack him before she died. Although he didn't feel anything at the time, it seemed like it was some sort of tracking mark. He was like a lamp in the dark night, clearly visible and with nowhere to hide. Thinking up to this point, Lin Xian's face turned gloomy. While flying at high speed, he used all his soul force to scan every inch of his body. In the end, he discovered something unusual. If it wasn't for his powerful soul force, he probably wouldn't have noticed it at all. Even after hiding so deeply, I still managed to find you. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He mobilized the great dragon sword soul in his body and quickly destroyed the dark red mark in his body. What? Lin Xian was a little surprised. He found that the great dragon sword soul couldn't destroy the mark. After trying a few times, his face became gloomy again. This situation was very strange. Logically speaking, the great dragon sword soul was an offensive saint art. There shouldn't be anything that couldn't be destroyed. However, the current situation surprised him. The great dragon sword soul is indeed an offensive saint art. But now that it has become your martial soul, it needs your strength to nurture it. The current strength of the great dragon sword soul is far from what it used to be. The dark red divine dragon explained, only when your strength gradually increases will the great dragon sword soul become fiercer. Now it seems that with your current strength, the great dragon sword soul can't immediately destroy this mark. Moreover, this mark isn't an ordinary mark. It seems to be some kind of ancient secret art. If you want to destroy it, I'm afraid it will take some effort. Lin Xian nodded slightly. He could only use the great dragon sword soul to slowly destroy the mark in his body. But before that, he could temporarily trap the mark and make it lose its senses. In the next moment, countless sword chi intertwined, forming a careful cage that sealed the dark red mark. Behind him, the pupils of the Huang family's elders suddenly shrank and they stopped. What's wrong? Did you find that kid? The Lung family's expert asked. Damn it. How is that possible? I can't sense him anymore. The 4 Huang family's elders' faces became very ugly. They tried to sense him again but they couldn't sense his location at all. This is impossible. One of the Huang family's elders screamed. He couldn't believe that the other party could destroy their family's secret art. One had to know that the secret art was very powerful. Even a third heaven supremacy couldn't destroy it. However, a first-layer martial highness realm kid had managed to nullify their sealing technique. After hearing this news, the Lung family's experts fell silent. Their expressions didn't look very good. What should we do? Should we split up and search? With the 10 of us, that kid can't escape at all. One of the Lung family's experts said. No, we can't. The Huang family's elders shook their heads. That kid's combat strength is very strong. If we fight him alone, none of us will be his match. If we act rashly, it's very likely that he will defeat us one by one. Then what should we do? Do we just go back like this? The Lung family's experts were unwilling to give up. I don't think that kid can destroy our family's secret art. He must have used some method to hide temporarily. As long as we search more, we will definitely be able to find him. In the end, the 10 experts discussed and decided to act together. In the depths of the forest, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon began to set up a formation. He wanted to make sure that those who were chasing him wouldn't be able to return alive. However, he wasn't anxious. Instead, he waited patiently. Firstly, he needed time to slowly erase the mark in his body. Secondly, the other party had sent out 10 second heaven supremacies at the same time. Their strength was heaven-defying. Even he had to be careful when dealing with them. Fortunately, Other than the great dragon sword soul that could erase the blood mark, he also had the heaven-changing technique that could conceal his aura. This ensured his safety. 3 days later, Lin Xian decided to act. He deliberately released a wisp of his aura to lure the 10 experts into the formation so that he could destroy them one by one. That kid's aura has appeared. Suddenly, the Huang family's elders in the forest behind him were overjoyed and sped up. Very soon, the 10 experts arrived and scanned the surroundings. That kid's aura just appeared here. He can't have gone far. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.